and I'll be your moderator for today's event. And I'm very excited to see very many passionate entrepreneurs, very many enthusiasts who are really here to learn more and hear more from the participants. But also, most importantly, we want to hear more from our distinguished entrepreneurs, those who have dared and tried, had ideas, and these ideas are making money, these ideas are creating opportunities. It's very important to note that this country has the largest number ideas that are related to all forms of business ventures, and they've been able to try, take risks, but then eventually start. So, and this is how we're going to flow. The format of our engagement will have a few people share their journeys and share their experiences. Then we'll get into a Q&A and an interaction or a discussion in getting to understand how did they make it, what are the challenges they encounter, and where are the opportunities in the world of business. Because entrepreneurship is the next big thing. If you really want to innovate for the better, you have to get into the world of business. India approximately is built actually within the cottage industry. Many have built countries, like in Denmark, it's about agriculture and agribusiness. What are we known for as Uganda? And this is where the next big thing is going to happen. Africa is now a spotlight. Very many people are looking at Africa as a center of opportunity, but also a center of market. Gone are the days where we were schooled and prepared for working for others, not testing our ideas and allowing our ideas and our passions turn into entrepreneurship. And I think forums like these would really provide us that bit of confidence that even when you are schooled or you go to school, your destiny is not going to be determined by the next boss who sits on the next armchair. You can get yourself dirty, but get yourself fortunes and create opportunities for others. And that's why we're here. Because entrepreneurship is about ideas, it's about solving problems, not just solving problems or problem solving, but it's also about creating the next biggest opportunities for others. So with us today, we have a very interesting program that is ahead of us. We'll have a keynote speaker by Dr. Ashraf Mutagubya, who is actually an affiliate and an academician at the Islamic University of Uganda. He's actually an expert when it comes to Islamic economics, Islamic insurance. And now that we have Islamic banking in our country, there's an opportunity to learn more whether our entrepreneurship ventures or our initiatives are really compliant with some of these aspects. I mean, the truth is we have to develop viable solutions, and entrepreneurship is the best thing. And now that we are into the world of a digital era, there's a lot of artificial intelligence, AI, we see that many people are innovating. Entrepreneurship doesn't have an age, it doesn't have numbers, but entrepreneurship is about an individual who dares to start a few things and make things bigger, growing opportunities and growing ideas. We'll also hear from Kanyiri Juma Waiswa, who has a background of agribusiness. You know, there's a lot of money with the soil, making yourself dirty or get yourself dirty. There's a lot of money in farming. There's a lot of money with doing things that are a bit ordinary. And there's a lot of money that is outside the city centers or the urban centers. It's not just about money, but it's also about creating value. Because after all, businesses are not just about investments on return, but it's also about creating value in people's lives. And that's why we're here. We're here to learn about their products, their processes, their journeys, and pick a few lessons on how we can go back to innovate, not go back to have a conversation or talk or have a chat about the event that happens. This is an action-oriented space. You learn a few ideas, you test those ideas. So they started a journey, and then eventually we're able to make things that were a bit extraordinary. So we'll hear more from Mr. Chinyere Juma and a lot of work that he does on exports with agriculture, creating platforms where they do research and learn from each other quite a lot, but also importantly, they run all these cooperative solutions and engagements. How are they making money through agriculture? Like I said, it's not just about making money, it's about creating value. Those are some of the basic tenets of a good entrepreneur. Of course, obviously, we'll hear from Hajat Shamira Namtevi, who broke the odds as a lady She ventured into the business line that is entirely or maximally known as a traditionally male space, metal fabrications. You'll find her making doors, gates, things that are a preserve of the male, and she has broken the odds, and not just her as her alone. She saw an opportunity and she was able to venture into that idea, tried a few things, and then she perfected it by the grace of God. And she'll be sharing with us how she has been able to inspire and motivate as many women to venture into the world of metal fabrication. Well aware that the women have a background of interior design. So I mean, it's really an opportunity and an inspiration for a woman who is doing a lot of metal fabrication work, and many have been able to start a life and they've succeeded. Those are very telling and inspirational stories that we want to hear. How did they get there? How did they make it? Lastly, we'll hear from Mukasa Muawiyah, who runs a venture that basically he rears, he advises, and sells rabbits here and elsewhere. A young man who ventured into understanding that entrepreneurship is the world that he has to venture and live in. Through this kind of business line, he's been able to connect communities, inspire many young people, and have access and opportunities to speak about most of his work, both here and elsewhere. He has a background of the diaspora. He worked abroad. He realized that the solution that he has to give back to his country, and entrepreneurship was the only venture and the door to exercise that. So I mean, ladies and gentlemen, that's a whole package that we have this afternoon. So the numbers won't stop us to start. We have to start, because when we don't start, we will never start. Entrepreneurship is that courage and the drive to get things done or get things moving. So without further ado, so we'll have Dr. Ashraf Mutagubia coming. But then before I invite Dr. Ashraf Mutagubia, allow me to invite my panelists, and please me by showing us a lot of love for them. So allow me to invite Hajat Shamira Namutebi, who is the CEO and the director of one of the most great initiative that does a lot of mirror, that does a lot of metal fabrication. She has a background of, she's a lawyer, so she obviously did not practice much of her law, but she saw that ventures and opportunities were about creating spaces where people make money, but where people grow value. So let's give her a big round of applause. So Hajat, you're welcome. Please take the seat at the front. I mean, we are very few, but let's get the mics going. Let's give her a big round of applause. I mean, she's the lady there, so she represents quite so many ladies. I know we have a few ladies, but we'll try to make sure that this conversation is a reflective of all genders as well. So let's also invite Mukasa Muawiyah, who runs the calf rabbitry. He's actually known as one of the leading rabbit businessmen. So he deals with rabbits, packages rabbits, rears rabbits. There's a lot of inspiration, and we want to know, how does he do it? How can we venture into that world? Muawiyah, you're welcome. A big round of applause to Muawiyah. A big round of applause to Muawiyah. So let's also have Brother Chinyiri Juma Waiswa join us. He works with agriculture, environment, and ecosystems. Like I said, they do a lot of agribusiness, agro-consultancy. They do a lot of agricultural exports. So the monies are not in the offices alone. It's not just a side hustle. Many have been able to turn their ideas into the main job opportunities. A big round of applause to Juma. And importantly, and most importantly, these are all important human beings to share with us quite a lot. Allow me to invite Dr. Ashraf Mutagubia. Please, Doctor, join us. And Dr. Mutagubia will have an opportunity to give us a keynote, like to set the pace. And then now we will also have another format where we'll hear 5 minutes from each other. And then we will have a moment of a Q&A. Like I said, welcome to the Entrepreneurship Forum. A big round of applause to everyone. Doctor, you're here. So you're welcome, and I'll give you the mic.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana fa'allimna ma yanfa'una وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. I've been advised to use only 15 minutes, given that we have the day to start, and we have a wonderful conversation we need to have with these people who are doing wonderful work. I've been introduced, so I will not do that again. And I've been asked to set a pace. It's very difficult to set a pace for people who are already doing the work. However, we're going to do our best. First of all, the organizers, like you may realize, the Focus Institute for Islamic Economics and Finance and Thurayya Islam Media, there is no way we can discuss entrepreneurship without considering the Islamic law in this, because our entrepreneurship definitely roots from Sharia. So everything we do has to be compliant with Sharia, and if we do not get the scholarly fatwas, then we have a very big challenge. First of all, let us start by highlighting some of the Islamic principles that are very important when it comes to entrepreneurship. Some of them relate to Aqidah or Islamic creed. For example, we believe when we are going out there to do business that al-malu malullah, so when we are going to make money and become wealthy, we believe that everything that we own is Allah's property. So he just grants some of us an opportunity to be able to get Jannah out of that. So that is what we believe, and it helps us on a moral basis as well, because then you will not misuse the resources Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has given you. So doing business, before even the business, the idea to start a business is Allah's gift. That is where wealth starts. So when we are going to do business, that is very important for us to highlight. The second thing, we do not believe when we are going to do business as Muslims and non-Muslims who might want to adopt these principles, we do not believe that we are solely responsible for the results. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is the one, the musabbib al-asbab. So while the law of cause and effect is very important as well in the Islamic tradition, but we believe that for the effect to effect, for the cause to have an effect, Allah has to create the impact of the effect. So this is why sometimes you might find people stressed and depressed and hanging. I did everything, it did not materialize, whatever. And you don't need to go down that way. So when you are going to do business, just understand that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, at the end of it all, He is a Razaq, He's the sustainer, but also He's Al-Wahhab. He can gift you with even way beyond what you expected. So that is very important as you go to start doing business as a Muslim. Now, the other thing we believe, as we start discussing, we believe that we are responsible for doing business as well. So, as Muslims and as humans in general, we were put here as khulafa. Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa. Allah put here to be the guides of this planet. So part of the guidance is preserving the planet, because we are discussing sustainability, climate matters, but also part of sustainability is believing that you have the responsibility to preserve this planet, but also to do business, to make sure that people's lives are better. And I wouldn't want to take you deeply into the history of the Islamic civilization, but the way we define civilization in Islam is about growing people and elevating people's standards of living and understanding of Allah. So we work and focus on the person. We do not just focus on the tall buildings. So that responsibility definitely forces us to create through entrepreneurship, because when you employ people, when you start businesses, then people's lives get better and children will go to school. Now, these are some of the things we believe Of course, we can't forget mentioning that we do not believe that there is a scarcity of resources. That is also a matter of Islamic creed. There is no scarcity of resources, so unfair competition and predatory monopolies and whatever, we don't need to do that as Muslims. Why? Because the scarcity is not in the resources, the scarcity is what? Is in the creativity. So we work on our brains and our minds and growing and changing perspectives to see that we engineer solutions. There is no way the resources are scarce, yet it's Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala creating every individual that comes with their rizq. So you have what you have to get, but in actual sense, some people actually believe the resources are few, so they need to compete, even if it means unfairly. Now, those are some of the principles. There are also moral principles that are very important. We need to be honest, we need to be sincere in doing business. These are things that we need to carry very importantly as values as young entrepreneurs available here and those who might watch this presentation online. We have definitely some technical issues that are very important from the side of Islamic jurisprudence. Not creed, not moral aspects or akhlaq, but fiqh itself. Because we need to ground our work in Islamic religion. Now, there are things that are technical. I will just mention one principle that actually fosters entrepreneurship in ways we might not comprehend. Islamic scholars believe or say that al-aslu fi shurut, al-aslu fi al-mu'amalat, al-aslu fi al-uqud. The foundation or the basis upon which Islam views contracts, conditions, negotiations, transactions, al-hill wal-ibaha, is that everything is halal. All that we have mentioned is halal until there is proof that what you've done is haram. So Islam, to foster entrepreneurship from a technical jurisprudential point of view, everything shall be halal to venture in until you get a dalil or proof that it is haram. Now, that is a mind-blowing principle from the jurisprudence. Why? Because it means you are the one who limits yourself. Everything can be business. Every agreement can be business. Every transaction is acceptable until you are guided by that this might have some challenges or some things that are not right from a Sharia perspective. So why should Muslims think in a narrow way when Islam actually gives us an opportunity to just think the way we want? Everything can be business. This is why some of the sisters are doing the hijab thing, and of course it is causing a lot of noise in the ummah. But they are viewing business in hijab. They are choosing to market hijab in a way that might what? Might be new. Definitely we have to understand it, and part of understanding is actually criticizing and seeing that it works. But there is business even in things that you might think they are ibadah. We have tour and travel companies. Taking people to Makkah has become a business. Of course, some are not very ethical in doing it, but we have credible people who have done it well. And there is testimonies everywhere, where we travel and other people. So there is business in spreading Islamic knowledge, right? This conference is about sharing knowledge, and people are paying money. There is business everywhere. So I would not want to start off this entrepreneurship forum with minds of Muslims and non-Muslims available very narrow. No, everything can be turned into a business, even schools. We have entrepreneurs. The professor is here. He is very serious when it comes to education. Now, this is primarily ibadah, and there is a discussion, a scholarly discussion, right from the beginning. Are we allowed to take money from teaching and al-qurbat, things that we do to bring us closer to Allah, or not? But here we are in Uganda, it's very profitable, and we encourage people to do what? To venture into that business. Yes, it is ibadah, we are educating people their religion, but all we need is our free mind and to let ourselves create. as you create, we shall see later when I'm winding up that you might only need a Sharia advisor or someone knowledgeable to guide you on a few things. But you do not first consult. You first create, then you consult. You cannot start by what? Consulting before you create. Because when you start by consulting, then you're going to start from a narrow perspective. You create. Of course, before you implement. Sometimes you might even implement before you consult. Because everything is halal, we say. But your conscience as a Muslim you have to have that in mind. I need a Sharia person to come, at least to see how I can pay zakah out of my wealth. And now when they've come to see how zakah, for example, Brother Muawiyah, I don't know how would you pay zakah from, then these are things we might need to discuss. But he had to create, he had to think as an entrepreneur, then Sharia comes to guide. Our religion is not so narrow like we might want to present it. Now, of course, we have a discussion in the Islamic jurisprudence as that might concern the entrepreneurs. What is the best sector to invest your money or to become entrepreneur? There is a discussion, it's very old. The scholars were arguing, which is best. Some of them, like Imam now, we are like, no, agriculture. We are discussing agribusiness here, right? The earliest scholars are like, no, agriculture is the best kind of investment, and whatever entrepreneurship you want to do, go agriculture. That is the best. And when they say the best, they mean that it is halal, but now we are discussing levels of halal. There is best halal, and probably there is better halal. Is there a worst halal? Can we have a worst halal? That is for you to think about. We could have a worst halal. But I know they are like afdalul kasb, the best way of earning. Of course, earning. The other side, there is what? Entrepreneurship. You can't just earn. Agriculture. Some of them are like, no. Amalul rajuli biyadihi. Best entrepreneurship is that where someone uses their hands to work. Of course, agriculture is one of them, but they needed to mean that as-san'a, creating. Metal fabrication is here. So metal fabrication is competing with what? With agriculture from a scholarly point of view. There is a whole prophet, Dawood, who was a metal fabricator. Angles, whether it's climate or making sure that there will be, the business goes on and on, because there is a form of sustainability where we need to make sure that the business shall stay even when you go. And we have a challenge when it comes to that in our Ummah in Uganda. We're not very good at planning what happens to your business when you're gone. It is still so interesting. And I think there is a thing about that from the scholars from some of us who teach about. There is a lot of teaching, and we shall talk about that shortly. There is a lot of teachings that confuse us as entrepreneurs in Uganda. Work hard as though you will not die. And then work less as though you're going to tomorrow. Now, these are very big discussions that we need to break down. When you work hard, it is dunya taking you. When you stay in the mosque, then it is shaitan driving you towards not working. So everything we are doing, that confusion, we do not want to discuss it, but we need to discuss it. How do we balance between akhirah and dunya? Because entrepreneurship has to thrive on the promises you give yourself. I'm starting this business, inshallah it will take me here and there and there. So you plan as though you will not leave dunya. But again, when you attend, all that you're doing, Allah Tabarak, you will leave behind. And then, so it impacts a lot and deeply. You know, there is a religious thinking that fuses with the culture thinking here in Uganda. So you're like, let me eat my money. I do not know what tomorrow will bring. So you can't think sustainably. Then there is also the climate thing. When people are starting their business, they don't care. Of course, there is a problem from up as well, because I think the regulator in many ways is reluctant. All in all, we have a discussion here to have. How do we balance between dunya and akhirah such that our entrepreneurs are not confused? Okay? Now, some of the challenges we have in Uganda as entrepreneurs, there is ignorance of the Islamic principles governing business. And we need to work on that. Why? Because the religion of Islam helps you become more creative, and you do not know enough about it. So you tend to believe that you have it all, yet you don't have it, anything at all. So that is a very big challenge, and we are not teaching enough. We still have a challenge of halal means of finance. We have ideas, but how do we finance these ideas? How do we bring them to life? It is still a challenge for the Muslims in Uganda. Why? Because the financial system is predominantly what? Conventional, and we have issues with riba. Now that kills many entrepreneurial minds in many ways. We need to tackle that issue as well. We have other challenges that, of course, Sharia non-compliance, and this is because, of course, there is no awareness, enough awareness being spread about the Islamic businesses and the principles, but also a few people have come out to advise on business from our scholars. I don't think we have had many scholars talk about business and guide the young people about business. Of course, we have a discussion which is also very important when we are discussing entrepreneurship in these spaces, the position of a woman in Islam in Uganda. In Islam and in Uganda. I think women, as per the last census, or this census, the most recent one, are 23 million, right? Around 23 million. I think the men are around 22. So part of those 23 are Muslim women. And when you look at this room, we might have more women than what? Than men. Now, why is this supposed to be an issue that has to be discussed? Because a woman getting out is haram. A woman wearing perfume is haram. A woman sitting with men is haram. Now, we have a lot of discussions we need to have around this, because we want you to become entrepreneurs, but who is helping discuss this issue? Your husband says you cannot get out of this house. You have to work from home. Then we have to give time to working from home and see what a woman can do. So this discussion, we are not having it. And many young ladies are confused. They end up just doing whatever they could do, and that's it, without any Sharia guidance, because the issue is not being discussed. Another thing we have as a challenge here in Uganda, and this challenge really hits us hard as Muslims, we have in our minds what is called Al-Ummah Al-Islamiyya, the Muslim nation. And then we have Uganda as our nation. We do not know how to position ourselves to win Islamically and to also win as Ugandans and citizens. And many programs of the government, we don't participate. We do not read the National Development Program. We do not try purchase something or to do business. So Muslims need to understand that you are Ugandans. And alhamdulillah, the laws of this land, when it comes to entrepreneurship and business, are not segregated. You can win. Those excuses of we have no halal, and then we have problems, and then the non-Muslim issue, relationships, whatever, those issues are already settled. And maybe we should settle them today. Go and work. When it comes to business, Muslim and non-Muslim are the same. You only differ from a non-Muslim, of course, when it comes to Jummah prayers, إِذَا نُودِيَ لِصَلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمَّةِ, when the call for prayer on Jummah is made, Muslims, it's haram to transact. And when you do that, transaction is batil. Right? So this discussion around how do we align our sentiments as Muslims and then sentiments as people who actually care about Uganda and want it to grow is very important. And this is why most Muslims do not seek government what? Government support. And then the government is puzzled. You had the discussion the president was having about the PDM, the parish development model. Muslims refused to get involved, and then it puzzled the government. What should we do? Of course, there is a fatwa that it's fine. I don't agree with that. But we need to work on the parish development model to make it what? To Islamize it. We shall not engage. And when Muslims are like, do you know the reason they were giving for not engaging? There is riba. Now, the person saying there is riba does not know anything about riba. However, they know that this country runs on what? Riba. So if there is no talking about this issue and bringing about modules, a sister contacted me from the private foundation sector. Is that PSF something? Private sector foundation. And then there is a UN, a bank, World Bank fund for women. And then there is some bit of interest. So there is a discussion there. Women, Muslim women can benefit. Young Muslim women, entrepreneurs can benefit. Now, who is discussing that? We have a problem here, we have a challenge, and these things we have to face head on. We cannot keep having discussions about, of course, which is very important, beards. I have a beard as well. We need to also have discussions about what? Entrepreneurship, okay? Now, lastly, are there some solutions? Is there a future? Of course. We are the Ummah, and we have the Sharia of solutions. Our Sharia is the Islamic law is a law of solutions. This is why most of the Quran is not what? Fixed. Most of the Quran left the room for ijtihad. We have to aspire to look for solutions. So far, the government has done a very good job. The legal aspects of Islamic banking have been sorted. We have one Islamic bank, tier 2, of course, Islamic bank operating. And we have circles, some circles operating with challenges, of course. There is progress on the insurance. I might not be authority to give that progress, but there is progress on the insurance regulations, Islamic insurance or takaful, because your businesses shall need, most business will need insurance. Of course, there is a fatwa that we can insure our business as long as we don't have, but that will come maybe in the panel session. Now we have progress. I interfaced with some people responsible in the Capital Markets Authority, and they are in the process of drafting the sukuk rules. So we might, inshallah, a few months, probably next year, see capital markets having some instruments that are what? Islamic, for those who might want to invest in the financial markets. Sukuk is something. Sukuk are the Islamic bonds. Now there is also another solution. We need to start creating institutions like the Focus Institute. We have the Islamic Finance Hub. We have IUIU. We have conferences. We have to use the platform of a mosque. We meet 5 times a day. We have ED every week. We need to count on these gatherings to educate people to curb the ignorance part of challenge, okay? Now, these are things we need to tackle, and I hope that this discussion opens up, this talk opens up a discussion that will help us by the end of this session to have gotten a few, inshallah, insights that can help us as entrepreneurs. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for listening.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A big round of applause to the doctor. I mean, thank you very much for really setting the tone. So we're now stepping into the conversation space. If the organizers would help me get the second 2 more mics, I'll be very, very happy. But just to really recap a bit, welcome to the Entrepreneurship Forum. We are giving thanks to Two More Travels, Thurayya, Focus Institute, Invention Plus, and so many of our sponsors who have really helped put together this amazing Entrepreneurship Forum. You see, the concept of a couple of things that I want to highlight. Do we have more mics? Only have one? Can I have another one? Just put the mic, just get the mic there. It's a mindset and attitude issue that our education system prepares us to work for someone. It's an attitude issue that you don't want to believe in your ideas. You have ideas, but your ideas will never start. There is an opportunity to solve a particular problem. There is an opportunity to explore on something that you think can work. But you will never, because our mindset is prepared to work for someone or to receive monies or to receive status from someone, whoever that person would be. That fear to dare, that fear to innovate, that fear to start, because you will never start. A couple of things that I want to flash through, then we will get into an engagement. There's a growing aspiration for entrepreneurship. If you look at the numbers, Uganda boasts of the young population that is below the age of 29. One of the largest in the continent. Not just the continent of Africa, but the largest in the world. This ambitious number of young people are eager to create more opportunities, but they are not eager to try and get their ideas into life. Of course, the rising education, there's a lot of literacy. Very many people have studied, but they are looking at their destinations of work as office spaces or as spaces that they believe or traditionally that these are spaces where they can earn status, but eventually they don't want to get their hands dirty. Because it's a colonial mentality that money cannot be manufactured from the dirty sources. Blue-collar spaces. There's a digital revolution. Everything is ICT. I mean, there's a digital boom in this country where traditional advertising is an issue of the past. Very many people can access clients, can pitch online, and promote their ventures online. Very few aspiring young people can connect most of their agro-entrepreneurial ventures online. Maria will share with us here a lot of what he does and have learned his business just by the online presence. Obviously, economic challenges. The country is not doing well. But in any situation, it's the entrepreneurs that turn around the economies. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Entrepreneurship Forum, and it's why we need to change the mindset and the narrative. That the innovators are the builders of civilization. In our keynote, the speaker clearly highlighted that there is no scarcity of capital or scarcity of resources. It is the scarcity of creativity. So it's not an issue of I don't have money, I can't start. It's the lack of creativity. Our keynote speaker highlighted that there is abundance for no boundaries to start or do anything. Everything is halal. You have to start and then move, then double check whether you're halal compliant or not. So having said that, I want the mic to move, and I want to start with the lady here. The only lady, Hajat Shamira Namtawi. A big round of applause to the ladies. Where are the ladies in the building? So Hajat Shamira runs at your business at home, get people to work for you, but then they come back, they report, you do the balancing, and then you share where you share the profits, and you're not there. So let them go on the caravan, but we share the profits. But the essence is, if you're here and you have nothing that you're doing that is entrepreneurial, I think this is a challenge for all of us. So Hajat Shamira, you're welcome. If you can have the mic, can you share briefly with us what has been your entrepreneurial journey, and what sort of challenges you've encountered, and how have you been able, I think mine first, and how have you been able to overcome those challenges in less than 4 minutes?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri, yassir amri, wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani. I thank Allah for this opportunity. I thank Him for the day. I thank Him for being part of this amazing arrangement of entrepreneurship. I thank Him for enabling me to be here, and I thank Him for enabling all of us to make it. And I also thank Him for being the only lady here, mashallah. I can see there's a lot of gender imbalance, but alhamdulillah, I thank Allah that I'm the one chosen, mashallah. I'm not the best, so I don't take this opportunity for granted. Organizers, thank you so much. Like the way Hajj stated, yes, it's true that metal fabrication is traditionally known as a male-dominated field. And trust me, I'm telling you this at first hand, that there is a lot of challenges breaking in such a field, but at the same time, there's a lot of art of breaking through, like the way I'm doing, and also encouraging other people to join it, like the way I'm doing for the women. So today, I'm going to share my story, how I turned my passion of metal fabrication into a thriving business, and also how I'm pushing it by empowering more women to join this sector. It's not too far that I started this business. It's recently. I got the passion during the pandemic. Many people keep wondering how I jumped from the law profession, come from the chambers, then employment, then the charity work, then metal fabrication. But it's because during the pandemic, we all witnessed that most businesses came on hold. The lawyers were not there in the chambers. CEOs, CSOs, the civil society organizations were almost nowhere. But there were some businesses that were running, and one of them were the construction works, then dealers in agricultural supply, among others, even the health workers. So it's during that time where I happened to pick interest. Actually, I picked interest in two things. It was in agribusiness and also metal fabrication, and how. My uncle Elias Kisitu, who was supposed to be here, but unfortunately, Allah because he got an emergency at the last minute. He deals into agribusiness, and passively or by default, he also does metal fabrication. So since he does agricultural work, there's some production he does locally. He produces machines. So there's some agricultural equipment. Instead of importing them, he sits with his team, they craft something, they come up with that equipment. So I used to witness a lot of things done from scratch. They make the sketches on the papers, then assemble the metals, then come up with a real product. And at the same time, he's doing agribusiness. So I'm like, you know what? I think I should join one of these things. So immediately after COVID, I'm like, you know what, Uncle? I'm doing agribusiness. I'm going to start the export of fresh fruits and vegetables to the diaspora. So me, I picked particularly Middle East, and I started with Dubai in particular. Unfortunately, things didn't work out. I had to leave the country for 4 months into that business, but I realized that being into that business, I was losing a lot of things compared if I had stayed home. So being a mother, being employed, and being an employer, and being an activist, I saw that I was giving up on too many things for my personal gain. And at the same time, the business is too risky. Remember, we are dealing with perishables and all that. It comes with a lot of pressure because we don't have control over things. They are ripening, they are perishing. But at the same time, you have that pressure to look for market in a country you're not familiar with that much, starting from the language, then the marketing art and all that. So I'm like, you know what, let me go back home. When I went back home, I went back to their workshop where they craft the work from, those agriculture equipments. So I told him, you know what, I think I should try out this thing. So I tried slowly. We start from, in metal fabrication work, it's a series of work. There's crafting, there's molding, there's painting, there's too many things. So I started with painting, You paint the works which are already done, then also filing or furnishing. That's how I started. So I'm like, I think I can start this thing. So that's how I came up with the workshop with his help. I started with 3 employees. So along the way, I'm like, I think I can do this thing with other women because most things I do, everything I do, I want to bring women on board to encourage more women. We work together, we work together, we work together. I'm like, but I can't bring on women when I also don't have the expertise. So I go to a team of 3, we say working slowly. So I have idea on how to do things, then also purchasing materials. So I needed the basics before I could bring on the sisters. So that's how I started. I started with 3 employees, but now as we speak, I have 9 employees, like permanent, then 11 emergency group. And now I do the mentorship and training of women, because now my interest is strictly women. So yes, the workshop is inclusive, like we accommodate boys or men, but my primary goal are the women. So that's why for the training and mentorship programs, I only deal with women. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a very telling background. I think entrepreneurship is courage. That ability to get to spaces and to get yourself started, I think is really an inspiration. I just want to pass the mic. You can pass the mic to Mawiya. Mawiya, in your earlier version of life, you went abroad. Somehow you got out of the world and then you were looking for opportunities. You came here, you ventured in safe labor migration, then you ended up in the rabbits. I think someone sitting here wants to know that why the rabbits? And what is the magic with the rabbits? And how did you even come up with this idea of the rabbits? And how do you think that the rabbits are the best thing anyone should ever look at?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Protocol observed. Also thank Allah for enabling us make it up here. I started working when I was 14 years. If you go to a program called Kore on Bukede, you'll see where I started. So after my senior 6, I decided to go out. So I went to UAE. That was in 2010 after my senior 6. And I'm very happy today to have my Ogi here from Chadon. Yes. Yes. So when I went to UAE, I started working at the airport, Dubai airport, as customer service in 2010 up to 2013. But while working at the airport, I was working in arrivals meet and greet. So I was helping people who are coming on tourist visas to help them at least get connected to companies that can employ them. So it's from there that I got the idea. So it's from helping these people, I saw that so many Ugandans still in Uganda who will need this kind of help. So I started KHM International Consultants in UAE, Hamria Free Zone. Then here in Uganda in 2015. Then in Kenya in 2018. And in West Africa, in Ghana, in Accra. So after there, because I used to move around because after getting money, then what? You invest into another business and get money, then what? Invest into another business and get money, then what? Okay. So you had to yearn for something that something to satisfy you apart from just the money. It all started when I was in German. I was entering the airport. We are in Barclays Business Club. So they organized those agricultural trips to those countries. So I was traveling business class with a group of people. But I stopped in Dubai. So for them they proceeded. So I went the next day. So on arriving at the airport, the immigration officer looked at my passport. Looked at my age, looked at me physically. That was around 2015. So if I'm like imagine 2015. So in his mind, things didn't connect. So when they didn't connect, then they put me aside. Because I worked at the airport. When you put me aside, I know what it means. So there's further investigations. So then after making calls and what, then they got to know who they are dealing with. But by the time they came, I told them, I have no interest in entering into your country. So please, I'm going back. So because it was a trip organized by Barclays Bank and what, it was the invitation of big people there. So they had to hold me down and what, and said I will be here once because Emirates had gone back. So the next day I boarded and came. So what I saw was like maybe I will be Muawiyah who has some little money but from a poor country that even at the airport they need to check your background, not you as an individual. So I started going to expose to see what I can do as an individual. And I came across a professor who said there are two kind of things that grow a generation. One is innovation. So doing something that has been there but in a better and new way. And secondly an invasion, doing something that is new that has not been there. If you take back, if you want to confirm this, look at people of maybe Amini's regime, Obate's regime. The rich people and the jobs that they did in that regime. Were they the same jobs that Amini's regime did to get rich? You get the answer. Then abagagga baliwo ku mulembe gwa Museveni kati baaliwo ku mulembe gwa Amini era emirimu egyagaggawaza ku mulembe gwa Amini egyagaggawaza ba Museveni. No. Then you are going into another generation. So do you think emirimu egigaggawazizza abagagga abaliwo kati n'abagagga abaliwo kati bagenda okubeera mu next generation? So you get the answer. So I decided to focus on one an innovation and two something that has not been there. That's why in agriculture I focused on two things. One is dragon fruit. Two is caniculture, the farming of rabbits. Rabbits have been there with us, but no one has done them in a business as a business. And some people asked me, ani agenda olabeyo omudala gwa kamiyo? So I asked them, obutawo bwa mudala gwa kamiyo tekisobola kulaga nti kitegeeza nyama yetaliiwo. That was one. And secondly, have you moved the whole of Uganda and confirmed there is no market for rabbit meat? Or just in your locality there, wojudging Uganda yonna. And then thirdly, if there is no market in Uganda, what can stop me from taking this meat outside? Okay. The other aspect is market buys value. So how can I bring value to the marketplace? When you look at the market now, people are appreciating organic products. People are appreciating nutrition. People are appreciating taste. People are appreciating something which is affordable. Let's say like that. If you look at rabbit meat, it is the best white meat in terms of cholesterol. You can go to your phone and search about that. That is one. Secondly, it is white meat. Thirdly, they produce very fast. Because they produce very fast, then they multiply very fast. So it is one of the fastest producing animal, and also in terms of converting meat, feed into meat. Yes. And we are also going into organic production. So we are looking for organic fertilizers. So rabbits produce the best organic fertilizer in terms of droppings, and the urine is a foliar fertilizer, a repellent, and a pesticide.
Of applause just to give it a bit of exciting. I mean, I just wanted to ask you, how do you stay innovative? Someone would want to know, how are you set up at the farm? Do you have researchers? Because most of the things that you highlight are a bit, first of all, you need to understand the venture you're going in. There has to be some bit of business intelligence. You know that even with the value additions that come from the urine, so you're already thinking in terms of either invention actually. How are you set up? I mean, how big is your conglomerate? How did you start? And how are you staying innovative in this changing marketing trend? Are you even going online? Because everyone is now going online, real estate online, everyone is. What are those innovations? And how are you set up? How are you structured as a farm? Is it just a farm?
It is not just a farm. It is way beyond a farm. Because I always tell people that there are two types of agriculture. There is commercial and there is subsistence. So maybe our parents used to do agriculture in a subsistence way, because in that way you're doing what you want because it is for your own consumption. Then in commercially, you must have a mindset of doing it. If you want to do it as a business, then you do what the market wants. So if that is the mindset, then it creates the business aspect into the business. Going into the market, doing the market research, doing how many products you're supposed to come out with, and all other things. That's why I'm always telling people, if you're coming into agribusiness, the same principles that govern other businesses, they are the same principles you have to put in agriculture. So the principles of business are the same. It is just applicability that changes. Does it bring it out well?
Yes, I guess the applicability aspect is also another aspect of innovation.
Yes.
But anyway, so I mean, a big round of applause to you. Mindset. So you have a mindset not to start, you'll never start. Attitude. And I think in your story, you clearly highlight that you wanted to create value. So entrepreneurship is not just about starting to make money. You saw an opportunity and you wanted to create value. Like you said, with innovations, there is something that has always been there, but you're doing it in a different way. And I think for me, the idea of creating value is something that we need to, mindset, attitude, creating value. Those are running issues, and you've got to start. Like our keynote was very clear that we have to start.
Actually, what I want to add on is money is a result of doing something so well. So if you do something so well, people are willing to pay you for doing something so well. So if you focus on the money initially, you lose it out. But if you focus on doing something so well, then people will pay you for doing that thing so well. If you focus on solving a problem, like someone who created Panado, you go there when you have a headache, it is a problem. So they tell you Panado will heal your headache. You might not even ask for change or even ask for the price of Panado, but you want to feel better. So if you are creating a solution, that people are willing to pay for. So you focus on the solution, the payment comes in afterwards. You focus on doing something so well so that people are willing to pay for what you're doing so well. So the money comes after doing something so well. So even when you focus on the money, you might lose it all.
I mean, that's why you want to create appellants or the next doom from the urine of the rabbits. I mean, a big round of applause to him. I mean, that's really, and I think it's really, really a good idea of looking at value, and money will follow the value. So, I mean, that's a good idea. So we already have a couple of speakers that have joined us. I see Haji Bakaluba. Haji Bakaluba, if you would just wave to the audience, I'll give him an opportunity to say something. I mean, from the background of real estate. Yes, let's hear from our brother Juma Waiswa. Juma, I just wanted to get a sense of, is it about funding that you have to do whatever you have to do, because you're almost in the same agribusiness. Is it about monies first to get started? Because you're doing export, you're doing research, you're doing innovation in agriculture, you're into climate smart entrepreneurship. Is it about money? Because a young person or anyone who wants to venture, do I need money to get moving first, or I have I mean, just guide us on that.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. Allow me briefly introduce myself. I believe all that know me in this audience, it's a surprise that I'm appearing in a space of agribusiness. But Chinyeri Juma Waiswa, officially trained as a professional in the Islamic Sharia and secular law and Islamic finance, a professional chef. And away from all of that, I'm standing in for my boss, Haji Arias Kisitu, from Agriness. Why is that? Because away from all the Islamic knowledge and the Sheikh personality that people know me for, I'm briefly trained in business and PR relations and networking and anything in between. So with Agriness, I'm working as their operations director and also their PR. So when Haji Arias got an emergency, he ordered me to stand in for him. But to the subject matter, Agriness, briefly, it's a company that initially, in 1995 is when it was officially opened. That's close to 30 years. It was opened as an agribusiness company, but along the years, it has, let me say, mutated or expanded into various sectors, like the management solutions, agri management, there's the research, there's the import and export. But in the interest of time, getting straight to your question, I think we shall get into the details of Agriness later. I believe, just as one of the speakers stated earlier on, the biggest challenge is not access to capital. Fine, we can agree it's a challenge based in our Ugandan ecosystem and the economy, but the biggest challenge may not necessarily be capital. The biggest challenge would be, I think, first of all, is the idea. Then secondly, the feasibility of that idea in context of the economy we're in. Then third, the aspect of creativity. Then the execution and all other details can follow that. Uganda, we are very lucky that the backbone of this economy and country has always, and I think will always be agriculture. But our biggest letdown is we are not present to the fact that agriculture is a gold mine in our hands.
Is it about education? I mean, you don't get your hands dirty. You're trained to work, you know, dress suits, work very well, work in a clean environment.
If you ask me personally, I believe one of I think from time immemorial, we always viewed agriculture as something subsistent. We just do it to eat, and we have never really, as a country, considered that agriculture can be tackled from a commercial perspective. I'll give you an example. Look at the Netherlands. It's a very small country. We all know how the Netherlands, I think we believe it's among the top biggest players in agriculture. But look at the resources, the minimal resources the Netherlands has, and look at the vast natural resources that we as Ugandans have. I believe for a very long time, we as Ugandans, we have always viewed agriculture as something we do casually. So before education and before anything, I believe we have to have a complete paradigm shift and begin viewing agriculture as a source of sustainable income at an individual and country level. It's first of all a paradigm shift. It's not education. I believe most Ugandans know how to farm. It may not be to the levels that are needed, but we have to shift and view that, okay, I can rear rabbits and make a good fortune out of it.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that you only venture into agriculture from a farming level. I mean, you can find it at a particular value chain.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe I would pack the rabbits. I might not be there to rear the rabbits, but I pick up business value. I pick the chain somewhere. I start packing the rabbits.
Yeah, yes, that's true. The agriculture value chain is very long. Yes, from the seedlings to the clearing the land, then you come, depending on actually which type of agriculture you're venturing in, be it animal or the crops. It's a very long value chain, and I really emphasize my point that if Ugandans as a country begin viewing agriculture as a source of sustainable income, I believe we are far better off. I've been lucky enough to move around the world a bit, and personally, I have not seen any country I can compare to Uganda in simplicity of gaining money out of agriculture.
So do you seem to agree that it's not about funding?
I partially disagree.
I mean, many tell us that you need the monies to get moving. Be it creativity, film, or anything, or real estate, you need the monies.
Let me give you a practical example. I believe in this room, 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 individuals may have access to 50 million shillings. But if I gave you 50 million shillings, for example, as starting capital, and gave you opportunity to venture, let me say, in commercial farming of maize, how many can turn these 50 million shillings to 500 million after a season? Very many people have access to capital. Uganda, we have a lot of loose income around, from grants to government programs to SACCOs to banks. Our biggest challenge, personally, I believe, is not access to capital. Fine, it's a challenge, and more so, now like Muslims, we have a problem, like Dr. Ashraf stated earlier on, to halal financing. But our biggest problem, I'm speaking from an agriculture perspective, not a general perspective. In other fields, now I think like in real estate, you may find that financing is a very big issue. In agriculture, it can come, if I'm to line them up, it may come around the third grade, not initially the first problem. It's not financing in agriculture. I believe in agriculture you have the issue of the paradigm shift, viewing agriculture as a sustainable venture financially.
Mindset,
yes,
attitude.
Mindset, an attitude. Then secondly comes the education. That you may have 100 acres in your village, but someone in the Netherlands may have 10 acres and makes more money in 10 acres than you who has 100 acres of land. Why? He knows how to maximize these 10 acres. They are doing farming, all types of farming. And you have 100 acres, you neither have the knowledge, fine, you don't have the capital they have, but you're also not making an initiative to learn. That's why I think if you look at Bukit Day, the newspaper, and they have a program they've been running, Omlimia Singh, I think, for a good number of years.
Yeah, and I've seen Maui and other.
Yes, and behind it, I think it's the Netherlands.
Yep.
Yeah. So I believe the mindset and education. Then financing can come later on after those two.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a tangent of a joke. 10 Ugandans cannot start a business. Or 10 Ugandans start a business. 1,000 Indians start and launch a business. Something to think about. 10 Ugandans cannot start a business. 10 Ugandans can start a business. 1,000 Indians can start and launch a business. Any comment on that? Before I bring in Haj Bakaluba, to give us a real estate perspective. Is it within our entrepreneurial DNA as Ugandans? Of course, many would argue IFLIS and all these other structural compliance factors. I mean, Mauya, you can take it on. 10 Ugandans are starting a business. 1,000 Indians are launching a business. Is it within a family that it's breastfed, that Indians launch and thrive? I mean, let's talk about our manufacturing sector. anything that gets into our essential items, 60% of that is Indian manufacturing economy in Uganda. I mean, I will just pull out Mukwano and not even bring in Dembe. Do Ugandans value cottage? Do we even have cottage industries? Do we encourage manufacturing? I mean, these are some of the data to sort of spark our thinking. Yes, you can have it on.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. First of all, I want to add something on the first question of money. We all know that money is a means to what you want. Not so? You want to buy a car, okay? But you need money to buy a car. So you must have what you want, then money comes in as a means to get to what you want. So you must have the business idea, then money comes in to support you, bring that business idea to maturity. It is the blood of the business, but it will bring the idea to, but let the idea be there, then the money will come. We have seen people win money in Zara, lottery.
Like gambling.
Yes, they win money, but at the end of 6 months, all the money is gone. Because it is just a means to what you want. But it is not what you want. It is a means. So you should have what you want, then you get the means to get to what you want.
So basically, you seem to say that it's not about the money. But is it about culture? Is it that we are cultured not to start, not to initiate? We are cultured to receive, or we are not cultured to innovate or invent as well?
That's what I want.
The 2 points the professors told you,
yes,
that drove you to innovate?
That is what I want to talk about. Is
because many people would say that maybe you look like someone from another world, that's why you're successful. I mean, all these are lame ideas that keep us there, and we never start. Like, you have to know someone. Did you know someone? Of course.
Actually,
or they knew you after you had started.
I will pose this question to Mr. Bakaruba, Haji Bakaruba.
He's coming. He's
yes,
coming. I'll roast him as well.
I want
a big round of applause to my panelists.
No, I want him to add on what I'm going to say.
Yes.
So I want him to pay attention, so that, because he's going to add on what I'm going to say. Okay? I want this audience to understand that there are 2 lessons in life. The first lesson, we get it from school. This is what our education system has crafted us to be. So 1 is the lesson from school. 2 is the lesson from life. When you go to school, you're taught a lesson, then they get test from the lesson. That is the school that is preparing us to go to the world. Now, when you go to the world will give you a test. From the test, you do your lessons.
They stopped you at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Then you picked the passion to have value, so that you would communicate value. Then you started through research, going to expos, and that's where you are now, by the grace of Allah?
Alhamdulillah.
A big round of applause to Muawiyah. So, we've heard from a couple of things. Yes, the lady has to chip in, just to balance the gender a bit. Because, yes, you're welcome, the lady on the platform.
Thank you so much.
Hajat.
Just to a little bit elaborate on Muadhi's point. You really wanted to know, is it in our DNA to fail in business?
No, the Indians, if someone says that Ugandans start and launch a business, they are 10. 1,000 Indians start and launch a business.
Yeah, I know it's been said that we are good at starting businesses, but we never celebrate beyond the first anniversary most times. But in my opinion, I think the biggest hindrance is our educational background. Our educational background is too verbal, yeah? We are too verbal, we are never practical, even talking from my profession as a lawyer. Yes, at the law school, my current school, they're trying to adjust a little bit. But you find that we get the knowledge, but implementation and also the reality in the field is really, really different from what we covered at school. So you find that we come out from school prepared, to storm the offices, to start up businesses, to storm the courts. you find that things are really, really different. When it comes to applicability of justice in my country, honestly, we all know that it's so different. I'll bring in the law, I'll bring in the evidence, I'll bring in all that. But that doesn't guarantee me that I'll win the case. We know in some areas justice is for those who can afford to finance it. But the thing is that it's not that I've failed, but it's because the art within the field is.
Omuntu byonna byakola gye biggweera akomawa in real estate. Omuntu bw'agenda n'atunda ettaka ly'ekika n'agenda into politics, ayinza okugamba ngenze kufuna ssente, naye bw'amala nga bamaze okukola amakuuli gaabwe eyo kikyaddako kunoonya apartment wagenda zigula kola ki. So to my understanding, real estate is supreme. And ndi musanyufu nnyo okugamba nti kyekimu ku bintu byenzuukuka nga ndowooza byenneebaka nga ndowooza, and I took it upon myself okulaba nga nkyagaza buli muntu yenna, whoever cares to listen, nja kuba nkimubuulira lwa nsonga nze mukadde wange saamulabako ng'azuukuka okuva awaka okugenda okukola. Bwe yasaalanga subuhi ng'abeerawo ne bamuwa akamereke, ku ssaawa 4 n'addamu ne yeebaka, n'azuukuka n'asaala dhuhuri. Nze namunaazanga ebigere, era ng'agenda okuzuukuka ng'amazzi agabuguma neetegesedde okukola ki, okumunaaza. Olweggulo n'agendako awo n'akyalirako ssenga wange, ne banyumya emboozi paka lwaggulo. Naye ffenna twasoma, ate amasomero ge twasomeramu nga malungi, ate ate nga tuli bangi. Kati ne neebuuza, how did this gentleman get his freedom? Wano mu Uganda buli omu akeera kuyiriba, and I've seen many businesses we twabeera hano mu Gyekyenda atawulira ku General Parts nga teyaliiwo, atawulira ku Warusimbi's garage nga tewaliiwo, naye ffe lwakubanga twakyawa kalicha y'okusoma oba okuyiga. Naye if you are analytical enough, oddayo n'otunuulira abantu abo, kubanga ekibuga Kampala nga sinnaba kutandika kuyingira wali, njagala mbabuulire nti kiyingiza ate kisiibula. Naye bw'oba olina ky'okola jjukira kigenda kukusiibula kitya. Abo ekyabasiibula baatuuka okufa nga bakyali bulungi nnyo. Lwaki? It's real estate. Okay? Kufuna ssente ne bazitangaza mu bulungi. So ntandika na muntu ogenda kunoonya otya omulimu. Bino byonna ebya real estate akakazannyo bw'ofuna ssente kakola ki? Kanguwa wonna w'oba ofunye osobola okugamba ogulako ewala nga wakyali virgin nga watandika okukulaakulana, then n'olyoka osembera. Naye naabikunyumiza ntya nga n'akalimu tonnaba kakola ki? Tonnaba kafuna. Tunoonya emirimu. Naye ngenda nendaba abantu kati ffe batulaba ku social media, era mbadde okulaba ng'ogamba kati omanyi olina okumpa time yange n'ombuulira time gye ndi mu kuba sigenda kutandika kubanga sijja kusobola kukwata nsonga eno kugituusa bulungi. Okay. Wekanaabatemerayo yajja okuba nga akatemeddeyo. Abantu bagenda ne batandika, ndabye Hajati ng'ayogera about education. Buli omu gy'atandise okwekwasa. Muli batuufu. Kikumi ku kinnaakyo. All of you here are looking for extraordinary results in life. But mulina ensobi ffenna gye tutambuliramu, nange nagitambuliramu for a long time. Ffenna twagala okubeera very logical in whatever we are doing. Oba osaba mulimu oba tokola, kubanga bw'oba osaba omulimu tulina kye tukuyigiza law of the average. Omuntu akugamba nnoonyeza omulimu naye sigukola ki? Sigulaba. Naye n'omubuuza waakasaba abantu bameka omulimu, n'agamba nasabako emirundi 2 mu mwezi. Kati tosobola kwenkana na muntu asaba mirundi 10 Okay? Average ye ebeekukola ki? Ebeekusingako. Kakati abantu bamutambulira nga twagala okukwata tube nga tuli very logical. Buli kintu kyonna bw'okikola nga oli logical, kitegeeza kiri logical proof. Buli muntu yenna akikkiririzaamu. Buli muntu yenna bw'aba akola kyemukkiririzaamu, results zammwe zirina okuba nga zikola ki? Nga zifaanagana. It's until you master the education, n'ofuna kikyoyagala, n'otandika okugezaako to apply the illogical solution on how to do it. Simanyi kuba mwali mpadde waakiri omulamu ogumu ne mumbuulira nti abantu babuulire otandika otya okusaba emirimu, otandika atya okubrandinga. Kuba kiri ekya real estate kigazi. Buli muntu yenna asobola okikola ki? Asobola nze kati najja wano natandise dde okutya kubanga obudde. Bwe natuuka wano ne ntunuulira buli muntu yenna kye yali akola. They were doing it rationally. It was all logical. Omuntu azimba n'atunda. Now, society yaffe kyerimu, we don't create but we compete. Tetutandikawo kipya, twagala kulaba muntu mulala kyakoze eki. Buli muvubuka yenna bw'ava ku university agamba ngenda kutunda ettaka nsuubula emmotoka. Omuwala ng'akugamba nfuna akasente kange n'akola boutique. Kati is following the other nga tetugezezzaako kuvaamu. Naye tosobola kukyusaako direction y'amazzi nga tugasuddeemu kiti. Buli lw'ogasuulamu ekiti kikyusa amazzi, naye bwe kikyusa direction wabeerawo ka friction akakola ki? Akabaawo, wabeerawo okukyankala n'okubaawo, but with time g'amazzi gamala ne gasetolinga ne galaga wa gy'olina okulaga. Naye bw'oba okitandika, obuzibu obuliwo is thinking logically. nti abantu balina okuba nga bakutegeera. Kati abantu bangi balina very good ideas. Naye the reason as to why they don't go through with them, baagala nnyo okuddayo beebuuze bafune affirmation okuva mu bye bakkirizaamu, whether it is logical or not. Nze senga muntu nulidde nnyo ku social media kasookedde enkola business, nina abantu abagamba yali badde yeeyisanga abagagga. Abagagga tebabeera mu social media, abagagga babeera basirifu. You see, omuntu atakolangako ssente ate oyigirize okugabya ssente bikulemye, naye oyagala ate onjigirize omugagga bw'alina okukola ki okweyisa. Gwe lwaki tofuna ssente nojja ne weeyisa ng'omugagga bw'alina okukola ki? Buli kiro buli biseera bibeerako abantu baabo, bibeera mu players baabyo, bibeera mu factors eziba zeetaagisa. Muganda wange abadde akyogera nti buli omu ajje kaakati abeere ku social media. Why not? It's open to everyone. But do you know why? People fear to be ridiculed. Abantu batya lwakuba balina restrictions ezibabuuliddwa society. As long as tolina muntu gw'ovumye. Andrew Tate yakyogera n'agamba nti in business every noise is necessary noise. Buli lwe bakumanya it is necessary. Yiga buyizi batunda batya otandike manya ngenda kutunda ki, ngenda kitundira mu formula ki. Waliwo omuntu agenda okutunda ekintu ng'agenda kukumatiza nti n'ekintu kino kirungi nnyo lwansonga nti kiri very rare. You're selling value. Ne mubaamu omuntu bw'otuukamu, you know the audience, n'obagamba ekintu kino kiri very cheap, naye it is a necessity. Nowadays buli muntu alina okuba ng'akikola ki ng'akirina. Kati abantu bakyali obsessed nakuba nti baagenda mu ssomero baafuna certificate, tugenda tunoonya emirimu. Obuzibu tebuli omuntu ayinza okugamba nti okugwa mu mazzi kwe kubbira. Okubbira kubeera kulwayo wansi. Oyinza okugagwamu n'olwana n'okola ki n'odda waggulu, naye kyokola kikuzza waggulu oba kikuteeka wansi. Bwe munampa akadde, I'll be talking about people building themselves, because the world is so big for you to build. But if you build yourself, you'll be able to build the big world.
Well, a big round of applause to Haji Bakal. A big round of applause. I hope we have picked quite a lot. I think for me, it's the underlying idea that you have to get started. There are no scarcity of resources. I think the key issue is scarcity of creativity. And speaking about creativity, we have Mr. Chiwa. If you would just help me move the mic to the other side. Do you want to address us from here? Yeah, so it's the world of film and creativity. As we all know that, film is also a very thriving sector, not just for Hollywood, but we have Yugawood, we have Nollywood, we have Dinkawood, Bollywood, and I think it's one of those areas that we've not seen as many people venturing. And I just wanted to pass the mic. Maybe you could address us from there. If you could just help me move the mic to him. But let's have him here just for camera purposes. So let's give a big round of applause to Chiwa. Proline Film Academy, they're doing a lot of film economics. Just to get a sense, and then after that, in the next 5 minutes, we'll break for prayers. It will be an interlude of about 15 minutes. Then when we return, we have a Q&A. A big round of applause to him. Please, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, good evening, everyone. Now, I'm called Henry. Chiwa Nseko Henry from Proline Film Academy. Thank you, Haj. I've just liked your submission. Nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, now, first and foremost, I'm going to be talking about myself before we venture into high-tech, before we go into technology, because I'm here about technology in business. But my submission, let me first talk about myself, then you get to know who I am and my journey in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I'm called Henry Nseko Chiwanuka from Proline Film Academy, and yeah, what time do I have? Before 5 minutes only? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm called Henry, CEO of Proline Film Academy. I'm the CEO of Proline Studios. I'm the CEO of Proline Promotions Limited as well. And I'm the CEO of Proline Real Estates Limited, and also I'm the CEO of Proline Film Academy. Okay. Yeah, a little bit about me. I'm going to be talking about like three words. I think that is time management and persistence and then consistency. Those three words are the ones who are the backbone of my future and everything I do. I rose through those three words. So now, let me just talk a little bit about consistency. So now, consistency and persistence are two related words but distinct concepts. For example, consistency. This refers to the quality of being steady, reliable, and uniform in performance, output, or behavior. It also involves maintaining a standard or routine over time. It focuses on stability and predictability. So also persistence. The other one was consistency. So now I'm talking about persistence. Also this refers to the ability to continue efforts despite obstacles, setbacks, or failures. It also involves maintaining motivation and dedication to achieve a goal or objective. Actually, this focuses on resilience and determination. Way back in 2000, I started a company called Proline Promotions. This company was about like promoting talent. I used to work. I used to make beats, in studio, but the main company was Proline Promotions. So as I think you guys remember about me, I used to make songs like for Clever J, Tina Tine. I was the guy behind that as well. Now, in 2004, I started a company called, the other one I started it in 2000 after school. Immediately, I entered into business. So in 2004, I started a company also called Proline Studio. Now I registered my studio because I realized that however much I was empowering the youth, there was also demand. So I decided to also register Proline Studios. Now, in 2010, actually, as I was working in Proline Studio, during holidays, young youth used to come to my studio. They could learn production. They come learn production, and then they pay me some small money. So, in 2008, actually in 2008, I had an idea because we were making music videos, for example, and the competition was high. So I decided to apply to University of Stavanger. Actually, they were teaching film, and I wanted to learn 3D animation. So, of course, they gave me, because I gave my background that I had a studio already, and I knew what I was doing. So, by reaching there, they told me, oh, you know what? When I reached there, that is Norway. So, they checked what I knew. Actually, I was a little bit above their syllabus. So they had to send me to another school there, which was under Mr. Denny. Mr. Denny is another guy in US, though he had a school in the other side of Stavanger. So I started my journey of learning 3D animation with an intention of coming back to Kampala. Then I empower my studio because competition was high, and in production there was no 3D animation stuff. So I took 2 years, by the way, that side. As I was learning, you know, I used to come back after some break. I come back to Kampala to keep on empowering my studio, which I left. But to cut the story short, after school, Mr. Denny asked me, so now you're going back to Kampala. What are you going to do? I told him, you know what? During holidays in my studio, ProLine studio, I used to share knowledge. And when I go back, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to be sharing knowledge, which I've got here, as my studio grows, but I'm going to be also sharing knowledge to these youth who used to come during holidays. Guess what? He told me, oh, you know what? If you're going to Kampala and you've decided, because the other side had got a job in another studio. So he told me, if you're going to Kampala and you're going to share knowledge, we are ready to support you. Now you see, instead of me coming to Kampala to empower my studio, like, because my aim was to empower it, like to start making 3D, whatever, I changed my mind when I came back here. Immediately, I started now looking for documentation to start a school. So from now coming back to empower my studio, to make my studio big, I changed into making a film school. So this is where now ProLine's Film Academy came into play. You see? Okay, so the idea is I wanted to show you consistency, persistence, because when you see all my journey, I stick on what I started in the beginning. Right now I'm into production, I have a match in my studio. Also, ProLine Studio is still there, but I just gave it to the students. I can't compete with the students now that I teach. So it's now the practical side of the school. So I'm just trying to show you that when you want much into consistency, persistence, trust me, everything can work out. And actually, when I happen to come back, I'm going to show you some of my stories, mainly branding, but online presence. And this is where my journey turned into a big journey. So even these people of UCC and the Uganda Film Festival is how they got me. So I wanted to share my knowledge, and then I show you when it comes to branding, but online presence, it can create a difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's a good example to show you that these ventures, you know, you have to start something and then you innovate along the way. I think the one thing that we're going to break for Swala, the one thing that keeps running through, be it in creativity or real estate or any other ventures that have been highlighted initially, is the consistency, the persistency as well. You have to, I mean, there's no art for starting any business. I mean, like I did mention, there's no art. I think the key art is to start. And then you innovate along the way. So if you started a studio and then you come to realize that you have to venture into productions, then you have to venture into a film school. Or maybe we're going to also start a rabbit academy very soon. And then maybe someone will start a metal fabrication. But these are very good insights, and I think we need to, I mean, the point is we have to start, do everything. I think that, like the Sheikh did mention, that we have to do everything. So the entrepreneur and the halal aspects will find you when you do something. Otherwise, it's having an entrepreneurial spirit and getting started. So when we come back, we'll venture into the Q&As. But for now, let's break for like 15 minutes and observe our most important appointment. Because in whatever entrepreneurship you venture in, you need the grace and the mercy of God. Yeah, I mean, one verse that actually sticks to me, the Prophet was told that it was not your character, and that those who you were able to convince loved you, but it was the mercy of Allah that we made you to be gentle to them. Let's go for prayers. A big round of applause to our panelists and everyone who has spoken. So we will be praying at Kagera. Then when we return, we'll just grab our tea, then move to a Q&A. Okay? Please stick around. Let's keep around. For those who are really, if you're not praying, then stick around, grab a cup of tea. When we come back, we'll have a more deeper and a more engaging segment of our program. Let's give them a big round of applause to everyone. Thank you very much. We resume in 15 minutes, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. I want to testify that we have one God and His name is Allah. He's the only one, the merciful. I want to testify that our final messenger is Muhammad Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I want to testify that we have 5 pillars in Islam. They make up and shape what a Muslim is. Number 1, Shahada, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, to testify. Number 2, Salah, praying 5 times a day, thanking our Lord for every blessing we have. Assalamu alaikum. I want to testify that we have one God and His name is Allah. He's the only one, the merciful. I want to testify that our final messenger is Muhammad Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I want to testify that we have 5 pillars in Islam. They make up and shape what a Muslim is. Number 1, Shahada, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, to testify. Number 2, Salah, praying 5 times a day, thanking our Lord for every blessing we have.
وجاهدوا في الله حق جهاده واجتباكم وما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج ملة أبيكم إبراهيم وسماكم المسلمين من قبل وفي هذا ليكون الرسول شهيدا عليكم وتكونوا شهداء على الناس فأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة واعتصموا بالله هو مولاكم فنعم المولى ونعم النصير.
Muawiyah telling us that he's into rabbit rearing, not because not everyone has been doing it, but there was an innovation aspect. They were all there, but they were not doing it differently. So he came in with the idea of not just the money, but also the value. And he's also looking at it in the long term. Because out of the urine, he wants to make doom. The urine of what? Of rabbits. He's already thinking ahead in terms of value chain opportunities. And I think for me, that is very important. That one, you must have an idea, you must start, and then you can check with your halal consultants whether you are halal oriented or not halal oriented. We've never run short of capital to start, but then the idea is we fear to start because we'll never start. Great ideas of thinking logically or illogically, because you want to confirm what others are saying that you will never start, you will never do, and you will never do. The point is you need to be an entrepreneur. You must have something you are putting in the market. And then you also have to have a mindset that also carries others along with you. So it's just about the entrepreneurial skills, the spirit, but the attitude and the mindset as well. If 1,000 Indians launch a business in Kampala and 10 Ugandans only launch and move with the businesses, then we have a challenge. We have an entrepreneurial crisis. So 1,000 Indians start a business in Uganda and they launch it to fruition. But 10 Ugandans only can launch a business and move that business with value chain pathways. For me, these are telling statistics and data. I'm an academician, and data means a lot to us as a form of inspiration. I want to open the floor for any burning questions, any burning ideas of how do we leave this space as brimming entrepreneurs. So I will have a mic. So I will need some help from the organizers. Yes, Abdurrahman. Oh, yeah, you can, boss, you can help out. Excuse me, sir. Sir, you can get the mic and then let's move a mic. So can I get hands with ideas, hands with questions? How do I start? How do I launch? I mean, let's even ask questions. Not everything has been going on well because you don't have control over the outcomes. I think the Sheikh says that you don't have control over the outcomes, but then you have to start because Allah expects you to start with the right intentions to enable, to earn, to thrive, but then you leave it to Allah with the outcomes. But you also learn from your lessons as well and improve and become better. So can I see, yes, there's Hajat, yes, Hajat 1. Any other? We need more. Yes, there's a gentleman there. Thank you very much. Any questions? I need the ladies here to start speaking to me, otherwise I won't speak to myself.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, our panelists. My name is Namkasa Fatuma Namswe. I'm so happy and I thank Allah who enabled me come here because I feel excited by what has shared. So my major question is about the mindset. How do we change our mindsets? How do we change our mindsets? Because I'm asking, you want me to face this way, but the question is directed this side.
No, but it's okay, but because it's a live event as well.
Oh, okay. All right. So how do we change our mindsets? Dear panelists, could you help us articulate ways of changing the mindset, the paradigm shift? How do we do it? Because that is the major here that I found out. Thank you very much.
Much appreciated. Thank you very much, Hajat. A big round of applause to Hajat. Thank you very much for that courage to step forward and be the first one. Can I have there's a gentleman at the back? Yes. So the mic. How do we have to be employees of others? Do we have to be the buyers of others' innovation or the consumers of others' ideas? Who says that you cannot become a young real estate entrepreneur below the age of 30 years?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Kindly put your mic a bit down. Yes.
Okay, the problem is that the voice is too much, yeah? Okay. By the names of Fahad Muzammil. I am a worker in Thurayya Islam Media. Majorly, my question goes to Haji Wakaluba and Mr. Nsereko Chuwanuka. Mr. Wakaluba, I've been following your words. But I think it's time for us, also youth, we should raise our voices towards you. Mr. Wakaluba, you're talking about real estate, how you became rich, your story. We know the story, but we are having challenges. Instead, my question, Mr. Wakaluba, you went to America, fetukyali eno Uganda, tetumanyi nawa passport gye tugijja. Naye mbadde mbuuza Mr. Wakaluba, tetusobola kukola sente ezaffe wano ne tufuna passports zaffe n'otuyamba wabweru eyo mu diaspora n'otulinkinga connections eziri eyo tutuukeyo naffe tukole?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think point noted. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to Mr. Nsereko.
Yes. Finally.
Mr. Nsereko, Film Studios, I've been with him. I think I've known him for a bit, 3 years now. 2 going to 3 years. But Mr. Nsereko, we are facing challenges. Most of the schools we tend to go to as youth to pursue our careers in film or any other industry stuff. But when we reach there, you people request for the money. So instead, I'm suggesting instead of calling it opportunities, at least let us know that there is no opportunity. It's the business. You go there knowing very well you're going for a business transaction.
Thank you very much. I want
Thank
to
you so much.
Appreciate it. Yes, there's a gentleman there in the middle there. Then can I have the lady? Your hand is up? Yes. Can I have any? I need to balance the gender because already it's tilted on the other side. So I need to balance it from this side. Yes, gentleman.
Yes, good evening. My name is Joshua Yamazima. I'm a managing partner of Trust Law Advocates. Quite an honor to be here. For all the panelists that I've seen take the podium, all of them talk about the thriving business, but none of them is tackling the issue of the capital requirement. None of them has told us how much do you need to start a rabbit business. Do I just jump to the airport? The moment I'm deported, then I start? Or the metal business, she says that she does it with the uncle. Where did the capital come from and how much do I need? And then maybe also they could tell us about the multiplier effect. That if I inject this money in the metal business, this is what my projections are, for it to be a practical touch. As a Christian, I am advantaged with the conventional loans because I do not have riba. But I'm wondering, how much do I need to start?
Great questions. A big round of applause. Very good questions. Practical in nature. I need to balance. Any ladies out there, I mean ladies, just don't disappoint the gentleman. Yes, thank you very much for stepping forward. Much appreciated, Mama. Can we pass the mic to the lady there? Yeah, Hajat here. Where's the mic? Oh, I mean, you reach out to her with the mic. She doesn't reach out to you with the mic. But anyway, yes, you have the floor.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shamira. And I thank the panelists. Thank you so much. You've taught us a lot. And I have about 2 questions. There is, I think the biggest things that we face before starting a business could be fear. Maybe even before the financial instability or anything. So is there any kind of way that you guys who have so far excelled at what you're doing, is there any kind of way that you overcame your fears and what helped you, put it aside and get your way through? That would be the first question. And the second one, well, still still about starting a business, we have a lot of naysayers. There's a lot of people who are going to tell you you cannot do that. Or they are going to tell you all the negatives about the business you want to start other than even the positives. And that kind of will definitely give you a setback. You will feel, I'm going to start and I'll fail. So in the end, you will end up not starting at all because of the naysayers. Is there a better way of handling them, of, shutting them up and you get your stuff done? How did you guys handle that if you ever had some of them, in your ear? Thank you so much.
Much appreciated. We all deal with armchair critics. They never want to start, but they're quick to comment on those who really have the energy to start. I mean, the negative energy promoters. Let's give the mic to the gentleman here, then we'll move to the other side.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa
Ladies, I need
barakatuh.
to balance the boat. And I'm coming here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. With me, I have a flyer with this same forum that we are in. My focus would be the topic that I saw on the flyer before I picked interest to actually come here. And the theme was agribusiness export. And my area of interest specifically was to know the nitty-gritty of agribusiness export in particular. Apparently we hear there's a lot of government initiatives in this particular field, but I know nothing totally about it. But this is an industry I'm looking forward to venture in very soon. So when I saw this flyer, I picked interest. Fast forward, I did what I have to do to come. So the inspirations are good, alhamdulillah. But as a person, my why for this forum is focused on agribusiness export in particular. What do I need to do to start venturing into this agribusiness exports industry? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's good to be very specific and very intentional. So I think Kisutu takes notes, and Awi takes note as well. But most importantly, we'll also benefit from the wise counsel of Dr. Ashraf Mutagobia as well. So I'm going to, there's a gentleman at the other side. Where's the mic? Oh, yes. Thank you very much for helping me balance. You're welcome. I have to balance it from this side.
He actually did it for you, caught off guard, but it's okay. I can pick on from here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Shamira. Do you want me to stand up? Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Shamira, the court of God. Allow me to pass on this. About 1,000 Indians starting up, launching a business, and 10 Ugandans starting up, something like that. Let us go back to where we come from, the homes we come from. There is somewhere I read recently that even if you took a child to an Islamic school, but when you do not have the culture at home, it's more of like wastage of time. Do we all agree? Don't you think it's the same as this kind of narrative we're having today? Yes, we are told to go and look for the jobs, to seek for the jobs. But back home, what do our parents do? To some of us, to some of you who have children already, and you're doing well, mashallah, you leave them in the beds. The at most you can do is wake up for subuh, go for dhuhr, those things, play around. Let me take you for swimming over the weekend. Is this the kind of lifestyle we're training these people for? Will they be able to accommodate it after they have reached your stage where you are right now? If not, or if so, how about if we give them something that is two-sided? Yes, I want you to have a good lifestyle, but I also want to train you for something you're going to face tomorrow. Because trust me, personally, it's a struggle. It's a struggle, like trying to learn through the lesson. Someone talked about the second lesson, which is life, after the one for school. The lessons in life are a bit challenging, and it's only a sabr that can help you like to, hang in there. You relax a bit, but why are these lessons so tough? Actually, they shouldn't be tough because they teach us. And after they make us stronger than who we were yesterday. But they are tough because maybe someone out there at home trained us to, you know what, keep home, I'll bring it to you. And after that, when you're out of school, you're facing life by yourself, it is a different story. So away from the schools teaching us what we are, the best school is home. Actually, the schools can continue doing whatever they do, but if we change the narrative from home, we can do better. Wa hadha, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think good insights from there. The Somalis have a saying that we do not inherit buildings, we inherit businesses. So what do we leave with our kids? We leave them buildings, they sell them with no business idea. So the Somalis nurture and inherit businesses. I have lived to see a family that is close to me where the parent, every senior for VAC, like my wife's family, they all venture into one business line from as early as senior 4. So by the time someone is in senior 6, they're already international business people. Most of them actually jump into the point of becoming a millionaires before like around 27 years. So the Somalis give you businesses, they don't leave you with buildings and plots. But what do we give our own? So I think it's a culture issue. So the Indians, by the time you clock 10 years, you already understand the business ecosystem of your father's venture. What do we give our own? So culture, lifestyle. Entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. Passion. You love to do it, add value, elevate value. Money will come. That's what Maria says. Anyway, gentlemen, yes, you have the mic.
Yes, assalamu alaikum. I'm by names of Shafiq Yahweh. My question goes to all the panelists here, including Hajiba Kaluba, because many of us come here, one, to get knowledge from these seminars, secondly, to find connections and market for what we have as products or ideas and services. So, are they open to venture in any other business apart from what they do? Because many entrepreneurs might be scared of entering other businesses and they feel comfortable where they are. Business means of but abamu, we come here because we may not be interested mainly in what they do, but to seek opportunity whether they can join you in the ideas that you have. So are they open to venture in other ideas, other businesses, or they are comfortable to teach us what they know? Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to, yes, so we'll come back for the second round, but a couple of ticking thoughts here. So innovation is something that has been done, but you do it in a different way. So Great Habib Ducks, or Great Habib Ducks, who has ventured into ducks. So we all grew up in our neighborhood seeing ducks, and many of us presented them. But they're becoming a serious menu in big hotels. We had issues with rabbits, some of us who grew up actually in the slums of Kisenyi. And many of us, it was actually a habit and a hobby. Many have turned that into a business venture. And rabbit meat has good health standards. I mean, as we've learned. A couple of ticking thoughts here. If you look at the water sector, the water we drink, the water sector, almost 80% of those that run that sector are not Ugandan entrepreneurs. If you look at the eatery sectors, the snacks and all these things that get into our tummies just to buy time and our kids, 90% of that is branded very well, not in our normal Kavera and you throw in a paper as a brand, but with a very good packaging and brand. Almost 90% is foreign. But all the products they use are here. So is our problem innovation or invention, or fear to do both? Let's pass the mic to our panelists. And I want to start with Sheikh. You can jump in on any questions, and then then we move to Muawiyah, then come back to Chisitu. Then before Chisitu, we'll balance it with Hajat. You can use my mic as the other mic is coming.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed. The question of the 10 Ugandans and the 1,000 Indians. I think I told one of my friends that when you want to understand, you think backwards. When you want to strategize, you think forward. Now, we want to understand, so we shall think what? Backwards. You said that the Somalis leave their children business, and you also said that the Indians have a way at 10 years of including their family members in business. The culture here where I've grown, Uganda, I think here we see wealth differently. Our culture thinking about wealth and leaving wealth behind is different from probably these people. Here what worries us more, when you listen to the parents, they are like, omwana wange nfudde sirabye ku mbaga ye. Why? Because it matters having grandchildren. I would want to see my grandchildren. There is a way we value passing over culture and tradition and values. This is what our society, in my understanding, has valued for years. And we have strategies of passing that down. This is why we all have all these in Uganda, because we need to preserve us in that line. So it consumed a lot of our strategic thinking. We do not remember many Baganda who were rich. No. How they behaved, their structure morally and their status in society as a responsible person mattered more. I think we do not need to break that. We might introduce another dimension that also should matter. They contributed and preserved what we had to find. We need to introduce to what we have another culture. A sort competing among capitalistic, because capitalism is not very old. It was not here, so our grandparents cannot be blamed for not having thought about it. So we need to understand where we are. When we understand where we are, we introduce, and we need to be intentional to make this part of our culture. There is a way we made that kanzu from Oman become what? A kanzu yomulera for Baganda. I think we need to borrow these wonderful ideas that involve business and teaching children business as a factor. Otherwise here, omwana bwafuna sente mumwegenderezo oyo omwana twayangiddemu emize. We preserve empisa zaffe than the money, the material. So I think the theology here and the culture thinking, the way it looks is what life is about is different. Is very different, and people are more worried of empisa okwononeka than mwana okufa obwavu, and that should be preserved. So we can add something else. So that was, I want to cut it short, but I have more to say about that. The question of how do we change mindsets is a good question. But what do we know? Do we know where we are? Because if you do not understand where you are, such that you can establish that there is something lacking, then you cannot, you're going to jump from one idea to another idea. We need to ground ourselves Islamically and culturally to understand where we're working from. We do not need, otherwise we shall drop things that are much more important than what we are trying to change towards. Like that thing of the moral structure. So we want to change mindsets. Where are we? We have said that we are not good at business. What is wrong with this? Is it, and what is contributing? I want to tell you something. Most people want to believe that when they become Muslim, for example, or Christian, they are empty, then Christianity or Islam fills their what? Their cup. No, Islam and Christianity negotiate with what is in the cup already. So there are many concepts we have wrong about business from Islam. Like it or not, this is how we've been operating here in Uganda. When we say that obusiramu bukkiriza polygamy, naffe tukiyina wano ewaffe polygamy tumwagalidde. Now we do not, because kikwataganye polygamy oli akwataganye n'ono mu bigambo, tuteeka mu nkola polygamy omuganda, not the Islamic what? Kasite obusiramu bwatukkiriza. And then we start thinking nti oboolyawo polygamy abakazi tebagala mukkiriza, abakazi bagala polygamy omusiraamu ffe tulemere kampa. Like this is how we deal with everything. In a business we deal with business like that. When something conforms to or seems to be conforming to what we have here already, we don't even research. Now we end up not having the traditional cultural thinking original. We don't have the new concept well conceived as well. Now we get confused. I think we change mindsets first by identifying where we are. Second, by having such discussions. Mindsets don't change by reading and by, you might even be praying to God wrong because of your mindset, and then you're like Mungu katanyanukula because Mungu teyakusomesa bwatyo. In your mind you think you're working with Allah as if Allah is Musoke, Ochi, these Baganda gods. No. You are dealing with Allah. Do you understand Allah? Which maybe I will just comment and come back to the question of fear. Because you do not know Allah, most of us, we fear. How can you fear halal? I mean, we do a lot of haram without fearing. There is halal here and we fear halal. Why? Because we do not understand who made it halal anyway. When you know who made it halal, you will know that you cannot escape. You cannot escape your fate. You are definitely going to find the challenges. So how about we go back to understanding Allah, God, and then these fears. Do you know why they say fear Allah? Because He's the one you should be worried about, not His creation. And whatever you fear, and fear itself is part of His creation, it can easily become your God. It tells you to do and it tells you not to do. So how about we fear God more than the opportunities? Because apparently we are fearing opportunities.
So you're like insinuating that we shouldn't fear to do some things?
Why do we fear halal?
So it's halal for everyone in this building to have something done.
I think we are hiding.
So is entrepreneurship spiritually encouraged? Is it a drive that everyone has to be an entrepreneur Islamically?
Do you know why most of us are preparing to receive zakah and not to give it?
So zakah is for those who work.
We actually, in Uganda, we are preparing to receive. That is part of the colonial, whatever, imperial, and all that they support. We are so used to getting something. Now, all the preparation that we have within, we are preparing ourselves to receive. Now, Muslims should be, in other worlds, Muslims are very worried. I have the Shahada in Paji Soka. I have the Salah. I can fast. They are very worried about zakah. They fear to die without giving what? Now, for us, when you have your shahad, of course, with our shirk going on, and then we have our salah, which we delay and pray the way we want, zakah is not. Manje tugamba. Tonatuka kuwazza kubuziramu tebukkaka.
That means tonatuka kola, in other words.
Nayo tuso okufuna.
Okay, that's a good one.
Kati we are so encouraged to receive, not to give zakah. Should we adopt, wallahi buli omu bava nga asaba Allah musasira awe ku zakah. You will see that entrepreneurship will what?
No, I mean just one comment maybe before we move the mic. The Prophet was an entrepreneur, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was an entrepreneur. What is that drive that every Muslim, actually, because I usually say that Islam is synonymous to business. So there is no way you're going to say that a woman should not work. Because there's a business model called the Hadija model. That you can have your business, have people you trust who will go work for you, and then you share the profits in form of commission. So in other words, even when you stay at home, you have no excuse of not having a business. So that means she's a role model, and these are success stories we should emulate. So where is it written Islamically that a woman should not work? Just to balance it. And where is it written that we are supposed to be receiving? Because if you look at the data, the Muslim community that are in downtown, that are going to Dubai, going to China, going to Turkey, ranging from 29 to 45, 49 years, are in the world of merchandise but not manufacturing, of which merchandise has limited value chain. So that every stage there are jobs, every stage there are jobs. So Muawiyah is saying, I'm rearing the rabbits, but I'm going to get the urine, and then the urine will become the doom, and then those are jobs. And then, the drop will be fertilizers. That's another company and it's another job. But we are selling clothes, importing clothes, and importing things. We're in the merchandise sector. So who says that if we have to do business, we have to focus on one sector? If you look at the restaurants, which we are known actually to be caterers of the world. If you don't look at Hajj and Hajj, 2K and the others that do it occasionally or event-wise. Mufumbi wa mikoro. Not in terms of franchise. But if you go to the US, there are Pakistani restaurants everywhere. There are Kenyan restaurants everywhere. Where are our restaurants and where are the franchises of the next 2Ks? Yet in every house, we have people who are excellent in cooking, but we only find them over the weekends and functions. So are we seasonal entrepreneurs? That's another question. So you're looking at what we're doing and what others are venturing in. We can talk about schools and other things, but the critical question is, if we have to do it, are we supposed to do it to a particular level and standard? Is it spiritual for us to venture in entrepreneurship? Should women venture beyond the arcades? Is there anything else they can venture in? What does Islam say?
Thank you. I think the issue of women is a very big discussion. And again, we are handling women from the cultural perspective, not the Islamic perspective. So when Islam honored marriage, we appreciated that, okay, then we treated the woman the way we know, the way our fathers did and our mothers. Now, obusiramu bubaga nti omukyala tafuluma tabarruj, netugamba nowaffe abadde asigala waka, right? Now, tetwategeera, we did not understand lwaki obusiramu buganya omukyala okufuluma. That is a general problem we have in Uganda. The structure and the form matters more than the essence. A few of us interrogate why. Abasinga obungi eddiini etuganye okukola ki? Okufuluma. Lwaki etuganye? That is not something we interrogate. Kati, why we did not benefit from the culture n'omukyala okuba nti yali asigala ewaka until we got into a problem omukyala alina okufuluma was tetwamanya waka yali atuula. I want to tell you something. Kyendi mu kusoma ennaku zino I'm observing our culture. I think omusajja talabirirangako waka and women are so kati bakayana ebbanga lyonna it is the woman that has taken care of their home. Yalima kumakya n'akomawo n'afumba gye yalimye n'addayo olweggulo n'agikola ki I don't know if mwali mukirowoozezaako wano we tuwangaalira. Now that is the woman we were supposed to help Islamically and to also make her staying home a whole industry.
That's a good one.
She did not have to come from, she don't have to get out of the home. Now this whole idea is fooling us. Fuluma gendo ofuna omulimu. Our women are dying. Our women never sigale waka the way we used to be. We create industries. You've been talking about the cottage industry.
Cottage industries. Small
now we
space.
cannot have those industries because she no longer knows how to stay home. The woman was already working. But because I told you now we look at things in terms of money, she was not being paid. But the value of her work manifested in her children and the nature of the husband, the way they present themselves.
So in other words, she was entrepreneur. I think what a perfect way to segue. I just want to segue and bring in Shamira here, but Sheikh, that was a very good trigger. So Hajat Shamira, obviously you are the only metal fabrica business or entrepreneur. Obviously there are challenges. How did you even do it? You're encountering challenges. Is it even a paying business? Is it a thriving business? I mean, how are you making it?
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, if I go back to mindset, you want to know how I got here. Like the way I shared with you how I got the passion of metal fabrication, it was because of the pandemic. And I told you that in everything I do, I see it beyond me, yeah? So yes, I'm in the chambers lawyer and lawyering all that, but who are the beneficiaries beyond me? And what value am I adding to the society, which is not really commercial, but giving back to the community and also empowering more people into what I do. So you find that my lawyering, I had to put it on hold. So that's why the mindset thing comes from, yeah? Sometimes it's growth in perspective, the way you see things. Yes, I need the money, I need to be rich, I need everything that comes with money, but in some cases it's not money that comes first. It's the value, it's that lasting impact I'm looking at in all my moves, in everything I do. So how do I get to metal fabrication?
And how much did you start with if someone wants to venture?
He talked about capital being the starting point.
How much do you need? What do you need? I mean, you need the equipment, you need all that. I mean, we need to break it down. What are those things you need?
Let me tell you, my brother, before even you think of how much you need, because before we've had the money and we wasted it, the thing is that we didn't have a direction or we didn't have anything in mind. Before, when I was a lawyer, it wasn't my primary obligation to start with my chambers. I knew by all means with the connections, with my expertise, I had to get chambers, which alhamdulillah I did. But what am I saying? I'm saying that when you're doing something, primarily it's not money. It's the drive. It's the drive. What is that drive that pushing you to start what you're doing? So once you don't have...
But Hajat, you need money. How much... If I am here and I want to start.
I want to tell him I didn't start with money.
No, but Hajat, you worked with your uncle.
That's what I'm telling him. It's connections at first.
Yeah, so the networks also.
Yeah, it's the networks.
You know, we usually say that your networks are your net worth.
Exactly.
So there was network capital.
So I tapped on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you didn't have to hire space. You used the machines. Did you buy machines? How much does it cost?
I started from home.
So
I started from home. The metal fabrication.
A whole set to start a metal fabrication, you need how much?
I even have no idea because I didn't start with money. I started from home, and since I had already someone who was guiding me, I started with a few basic equipments. They costed me even like, I think by 5 million I had started.
Also, you need like approximately 5 million.
Yes, approximately 5 million.
Yeah, I think now we get the exact figure.
Yes.
Yeah, but less than that. You can get second-hand equipment, less than like $1 million shillings. But the drive matters. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, it was 5 million approximately, or even less. But how did I start? It was through network. And it's not my uncle who did the work, but I had to befriend the people who work with him. So they guided me. So instead of going to a training school to study what I do, it's through the connections and also a network with the people who are
obviously you had your goals, you had your passion.
And how did I get my first job?
Yes. Your first deal?
Yes, my first deal.
As a woman metal fabricator, entrepreneur?
My first deal, I'm like, you know what, now I should take this thing to another level. I made a flyer and I posted it on my status. In a second or two, I wanted to even talk about it before she left. I think we all know Naluman's Mariam.
Yeah, she was here.
So Mariam spots it. She's like, you don't want Shamila, you're into metal fabrication? I'm like, yes. She's like, we are going to work together. And in a week's time, she calls me and she gives me my first deal.
So that is exactly what Hajbal Kaluba says, digital presence.
Exactly.
And that's the way to go. So you did have to invest in advertising. So
I
digital
did.
presence. Necessary noise, eh?
Yeah,
That's
all
a
those
good-
things. Sometimes to get them, you need money. But remember, I'm coming from the network, then the digital presence, because I would have hired someone maybe to connect me, maybe to do all that. But you see, I'm not using money. I'm using the available resources. And that's what Sheikh said, yeah? Sometimes it's not the scarcity of resources, but creativity. So, yes, we do need the money. You have the money. Personally, I've burnt a lot of money because I didn't have direction. I didn't have some things like the way Haji said, we do because other people are doing. I told you after COVID, I was like, my uncle is thriving in agribusiness, I should join. I joined it, it hit me hard.
Okay.
All my savings.
Of course, obviously, Chef
were
says
gone.
you don't have control over the outcomes.
Exactly.
I just want to bring in, Haj Muawiyah just in a second, then I'll bounce back to you.
Kindly, I wanted to also factor in the
fear
point
factor?
of fear.
Yes.
So my namesake and my sister Shamila, don't even mind about that. Because in everything you do, you find people who are not on the same pace with you or who will never understand you. I'm talking from personal experience. There are many things I do and people don't know why I do them and they'll never understand me. But the thing, what drives me is my passion. So what is my primary objective in whatever I do? So once you know that, you stay focused. So number one thing, you don't need to consult many people. Sometimes you just need to start, then consult after starting. Because sometimes you start like, the time I put in my energy, my money, I can't leave it. Then also consult people who are doing the same work with you. And also consult people who believe in you. There's some people who believe in you. Everything they do, like, no, Shamila, I know whatever you get your hands on will work out. So they start pushing you like that.
All right, cool. Let's get a few thoughts from a big round of applause to her, of course. Thank you very much. And thanks to the ladies who are not clapping as well. After all, she's the only lady there. But anyway, Haji Muawiyah, I expected to see Muawiyah stores of rabbits all over the town. How much do you even need to start a rabbit business? I want to rear rabbits. How do you even, take us through do you even supply? Do you have a brand? How did you start? Because you already had the money. And then just give us a sense of, in your farm, how big is it and how do you do it? How can you inspire me to love in starting a small rabbitry rearing and business? And is there money? Not money, is there value?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Address a few questions as well.
Yes. I'll address your question and the question of the person who talked about export.
Yeah, export, yes, the gentleman there.
Export. I've lived in the UAE now for the past 13 years or 14, I think. And I'm on Association of Ugandans in UAE. So in that association, we used to organize expos for farmers to come from Uganda, to come to UAE, to exhibit their products and what and what. So we got a challenge whereby the people who come to exhibit, they are brokers, not farmers. So when they come, they promise a lot to the market in the disguise of winning the contract. So after winning the contract, now supply becomes a problem. Because someone said, I can supply a ton of pineapples every day. Now, this person who's saying is a middleman, doesn't know even the seasons of the pineapples, when they are low, when they are high, when they are... So we got a challenge whereby the market started complaining that the contracts we did, these were not able to supply quality, quantity consistently. Okay? So one of the challenges that we have faced is quality, quantity, and consistency. So being on that platform, so I decided let me go and maybe do something about it. So when I came, my farm is on 370 acres in Kapeka.
370 acres.
Yes. So at first,
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah. So at first I planted mangoes because there's a fruit and vegetable market in Jebel Ali. It is called the fruit and vegetable market. So when I went there, I got a market for fruits and vegetables because I was on the platform. So when I came, I told them I'm going to supply mangoes. Let me go and plant. So after planting 50 acres of mangoes, I did calculations, and I'm like, I will be getting these kind of bags at this point of time. So for me to be able to supply consistently those mangoes with the quality and volumes required, I need to have like 10 farmers who each at least has 1 square mile of mangoes for me to be able to supply consistently.
Other farmers, not you?
Not me. Me and others. Because me alone, I cannot supply the volumes and being consistent. Okay? So the mango thing, now this one I cannot do. I went to goats because there's a market for laham, meat. So when I did the calculations, I need to have almost 100 farmers, each with about 500 goats to be able to supply that market consistently. When I ran also that, I thought, now this one I cannot do. So what I've discovered is the challenge with the export market, they need quality, quantity, and sustainability. Consistency. And even our government itself, they have got markets outside there, but who have failed to supply those 3. So the point now is to go back to the grounds, organize farmers on the quality that is required in the international market, on the volumes, and how to sustain. Once we do that, then we will be able as a nation to supply these things consistently to those countries. It is not an individual problem. Even the government has signed contracts, but they have failed to supply consistently because there is no
domestic market. There is no domestic market.
Even domestic market we cannot supply. Let me tell you.
How many rabbits do you have?
I'm going to come to rabbits.
Yes, and how much market do you have? Because I need to be motivated to get into the business.
Now, even domestic, if you go to data, you'll see like even domestic market who have not satisfied it. Do you know that matoke is coming from Tanzania?
Matoke from Tanzania?
Yes. Go and do your research.
Oh, that's a good one.
Even the domestic market, you will find that almost 90% of agricultural products, obutungulu,
yes, yeah,
we are importing them.
Yeah.
Go and see how many agricultural products that we are importing. Even the local markets who have not satisfied because we haven't organized. If you go to Netherlands and see how they have organized farmers at the ground level, because that's where everything starts. We are seeing government promoting industrialization, but there is no industrialization without agro-mechanization. It all starts from production, then from production it goes to value addition and so.
Let's come
now we talk about rabbits.
Rabbits.
We're talking about rabbits. Right now we are having around 500.
5,000.
5,000 rabbits at the farm. We have about 40 outgrowers, each having at least 60 breeders.
Like others you train, do you train them?
Yes, we are training. We're doing trainings. If you check our YouTube channel,
you
we're doing
then
the
you
trainings.
give them a few rabbits to start?
Yes, we're giving them. We have a business class and how they come. So how do we came to rabbits and how are we going to that market? We went to the market first. The market dictated what it wants. They want a rabbit which is carcass weight, 1.5 kgs. Okay, so when we came back, because we want the quality, volumes, and sustainability. So the quality, we imported the rabbits, which are the mother breeders. So we multiplied them. But for us to get volumes, we needed more farmers. So right now we have constructed a collection center which can collect around 50,000 rabbits, or maybe 12, which we are now starting. I think we have seen, if you are following our social media platforms, we have partnered with Mambo Restaurant. You can go there.
I can go and eat rabbits as well.
There's rabbit meat there. We have partnered with that Dynasty Hotel restaurant in Kololo. So we are, because our target is export, but as for us to get export standards, because the volumes are so huge and we haven't got to those volumes, so we are starting with local consumption to offset the little production that we're having at this moment as we prepare ourselves to the export standards. So to my brother, export needs preparation in terms of quality, quantity, and sustainability.
And how much do you need to start? I want to start.
Yes.
Yeah, in a small area.
We've broken down into 3 classes of people who want to start.
Yes.
We have the business class upper. That one you need 120 breeders, where at least you can make 9 million per month. When you come at the farm, we'll take you through how that is done. Then we have the business class lower with the 60 breeders. That one you need. That one you can earn around 4.5 million per month.
But how much how much do you need for the business class to start?
The business class upper, you need at least 80 millions.
80 million?
The business, the medium, you need about 50 millions. The least one,
university.
Yes, that one we are doing with MasterCard and the groups. That one you need 7 millions. That is the least one.
So 7 millions, 7 millions, 7 million.
So there is for the start.
Rabbits, for the 7 million for the start. I mean,
yes.
Yeah. Just lastly.
I wanted to talk about the question she asked about fear.
About fear, yes. How did you confront fear?
Yes. First of all, I want you to understand that fear is just false evidence appearing real.
Okay, false evidence.
You fear to fail. Have you failed? No. You fear to lose money. Have you lost money? No. There are 2 things that I want you to understand. There is a financial risk and there is a death risk. Okay? When you drive a car, it is a death risk. We all have confirmations on that. So that is a death risk. It is guaranteed. Accident, no one. When you invest in business, it's just a financial risk. You lose money, maybe get it some other time. You don't lose your finger because you've lost money. Not so. But when you're involved in an accident, it's very easy to lose maybe part of your body and you don't get it back. Did you come here walking? You came on?
Well,
you came with Uber, so you came with a car. So you took a death risk to this place. Not so. So why did you take a death risk?
Because you wanted to
No, the wanting to come is not there. It is not what insinuated you to come. What I want you to understand is someone takes a death risk without even thinking twice.
Yeah, logical.
Yes, and someone takes a financial risk. Now they have to ask this one. Yet you're not going to lose even a part of your body. So we are taking a death risk without even thinking, because you are sitting in a car which car has controls. I have control because what you can bobogenda kutomera osobola okuweta n'okola no maneuveringa. So one way of curbing fear is having controls of your fears. So what do you fear? You fear to lose money, because when you lose money, now at the end of the day, maybe some
transport.
Yes. Then, because at the end of any fear is death, which Sheikh said, we don't have control over that.
No, we definitely don't.
Yes. So if you're going into any business, put down your fears, and have what if. Okay, this is the fear. What if it happens? What is my fallback position? So at least put some controls to curb your fears so that you can hit them head on. Because if you don't hit them, they will not go away. You don't curb down your fears by running away from them. You curb them by hitting them head on. But don't just go head on, because when you fall, now you fall in a lock and maybe break. So put some controls at least to curb your fears, but don't be scared because of the unknown.
Okay, that's a good one. A big round of applause to him. Well, I have Chisitu, then I have 2 more speakers to come here as well. But don't forget the Somali adage that omwana tumusikiza business, tumusikiza bizimbe na poloti ate balwane, batingane. Because with business there's an element of sustainability and you have to culture them, of course holding the morality aspect. We fear Allah. Islam actually enjoins us to be entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurship is risk-taking because you don't have control, you leave it to Allah, but then you have to keep planning with the venture or the business. Logically or illogical, but you have to start. I mean, those are good insights. A big round of applause to those who are coming in as well. So Chisitu, I want to venture into agro process, but I've been told to think about quality, consistency, and quantity as well. But I came here, that is my passion. So how do I go about it? How do you guys go about it? I mean, you've been in business for almost more than 10 years, you said? 30 years. Oh, more than 30 years? Yeah, it's equal to the other big man in office, the individual one. So how do you guys do it? Do you find your ways into, or do you work with someone in government? Because there's a tendency that anything that succeeds, you need to have someone you know in government for it to work out. Yeah, but yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Allow me to start with the point you ended with, that the issue of, in order to make it, you must have someone in government. It's also a mindset flaw that we have in Uganda.
Mindset.
It's a flaw, and I really wish we work to eliminate it. It has hindered many people because they believe whoever's making it has government backing, which is not true.
No, yeah, because I go government. The Chinto Chwali Saleh no. And you know, when I saw Muawiyah with Saleh, and I was like, okay, so is it Muawiyah or it's Saleh? Okay, so Muawiyah, maybe the other question maybe I would want to ask is, did Saleh look for you after you started, or you went and looked for Saleh when you're starting?
I don't even know him personally.
So the brokers came to you? The brokers came to you?
There is nothing.
Okay.
But actually, what I want to talk about mindset,
yeah, because people are saying that you're in Kapeka, so we always, anyway.
Everything in Kapeka is not for Saleh.
Okay, that's a good one. So let's pass the mic. That was just a tangent to get the audience more active. But Chisitu, you have the floor.
Allow me ample time to expound sufficiently on the issue of export, because it's our line of expertise, and I believe not him, I'm not answering him specifically. For whoever wants to venture into export, I request that you listen to me attentively. First of all, import and export is one of the most profitable businesses internationally. If I look at you here, our clothes, the equipment we're using, the lighting, almost everything, I think I can say 80% is either through import or export. So it's a very profitable business if you're doing it right. Secondly, import and export is, as much as it is profitable, it's one of the most complex businesses. Very complicated. I don't want to be a simpleton and lie to someone that it's something you just begin. No, it's, if I'm to be sincere with you, it's very complicated. So if something is complicated, you need ample planning, and you need to take your time. You don't rush into it. You know, as I was saying earlier, you have a Me Too syndrome. You'll burn your fingers till they drop off if you do it in import and export.
Me Too syndrome. Atunde nyanya, vanilla akola. Enyanya zifuna. Woo! Okay, Me Too syndrome.
It's one of our letdowns in Uganda. Afuna milioni 10 njagala nime nyanya rakwa gundi alime nyanya.
Obuyimba bubiri bukola.
It's very dangerous.
No location, yo zimbye wabi. Yeah, Me Too syndrome.
So getting to the issue, I request that you can summarize this down. First of all, before you begin in import and export or any business, the very first step, it's not capital, it's not networks, it's learning, knowledge.
Ilm.
Yes, ilm.
Yeah, the Arab says, a scholar says al-ilm qabla al-amal.
Knowledge before
knowledge doing. Before you act.
Yes. So first sit down, take your time. You may not go to a business institute, but sit down. The internet is awash with a lot of free information. There are books, there are mentors, there are people who are in the business. Give yourself a period of, let me say, 6 months to a year when you're intentionally learning the business from all directions. You buy the books, you go to the seminars, you attend the conferences, you go online, you go into the government departments that are dealing in import and export and learn. Get a pen and paper.
He went to the expos. He went to the expos.
Yes. So you sit down and learn, because in import and export, you're going to find the basics, knowing, importing and exporting, import and export substitution. Then there's the issue of the laws that govern that business. Then we have the issue of the monetary systems, international monetary systems, knowing how SWIFT works, knowing how we transfer big amounts of money, knowing the laws guiding money laundering, because you're going to be dealing with huge amounts of money.
Because you're moving money.
Yes, you're moving money and moving products. Then you also have to know the transportation systems. This is all under knowledge. How do I move a container from Kampala, let me say, to UAE or to Europe or to USA? You have to know logistics, have some basic information about logistics. So also, you have to learn about taxation, the accounting, and anything to do with money in its small and specific details. Because you're going to deal with money in import and export, you're dealing with money and products. So sit down and learn, and when I say learning, I mean learn in a detailed manner. Not just to it awisi kunguru what. Beira ngo muntu azze gamba, okay, I'm going to study a degree in international business. But not in the formal setting, I don't mean that. But collect all the relevant information to the very last detail. You may not do all the work, as we may see, but you need to have at least an idea of every step of the business you're venturing into. So that's one thing. Then, along learning, you have to know two major things. You need to know the obstacles in the business.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, as I said, you're dealing with products and money.
Perishability.
Yes, perishability, permissibility of some products.
Are they allowed in this country?
For example, I'll give an example. In Uganda here,
you're
not allowed to take, initially poor logging. Also, Uganda no teme mitijo, no salam, let me say, get mahogany, no salam embao. But right now, after the president changed the laws, you only need to, you're only allowed to export furniture.
Finished products.
Finished products.
Yeah.
The same thing with some minerals. Now, like you can see
minerals actually, so that we don't export soils and rocks.
Yes.
At least we start the first level here.
You need to know that.
Yeah.
And there are also some countries that don't receive finished products. They only want raw materials.
Yeah, because they want their jobs to be there.
They want their jobs.
Level 1, level 2, level 3.
Yes, so you need to know those details.
Dynamics, yes.
And dynamics. Secondly, the import and export procedure. Togenda kera ukezi kumacha wakoli makasoli, ogende uwo mujeyo, omusemu kavera, omutwale bweru. It's a very cumbersome and long process. I'm not saying this to scare you, but I want us to be realistic and understand.
But we are here to learn. You'll never know how to start until you learn how to.
It's a very cumbersome process. For example, I'm going to direct you to our website. Good enough, the information for import and export, everything is online. Anyone who wants to enter into importing and exporting in Uganda, write these two down. The Export Promotion Board. They have a website. You can check it on your smartphone right now. The Export Promotion Board. And the Uganda Trade Portal. Uganda Trade Portal under the Ministry of Trade, I think, and yes, Ministry of Trade. But the Uganda Trade Portal and Export Promotion Board, you'll go and find all the details you need and any kind of licensing or procedures for a specific product. That brings me to the issue of the niche. That when you enter into exporting, out of excitement and let me say arrivalism, you may believe inherently that you can export or import everything in the market. That's very dangerous. You lose time, capital, and also end up wasting a lot of effort.
Okay, so I think I'll just, but great insight, so hold it from there. I just want to invite in Haji Bakaluba here to, I mean, if we say that we have to sacrifice everything to succeed, there are a couple of questions the young men asked and a couple of things, and I want to invite you to address concerns related to your area of business empowerment or mentorship, but specifically some of the other comments that are coming in. And permit me to give you about 7 minutes, because I'm looking at time and we have to really be winding down by 7, but I don't want to, yes, no, but that's political when you say that. But anyway, you have the floor, and then I'll have Chiwa, then we'll have a round, the last round as well.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Why is it only me that you're worried about when it comes to time?
That's being political.
I think you have seen me speaking for way longer than 5 minutes. Ono muleke nja mukubirayo kubanga one thing I know, sitera kwogera audience netawoomerwa ojja kulwanagana nabo. Thank you so much. Ngenda nento obedda ndi awo nga ntunuulira abaami bano nga boogera. I'm really impressed. Ne Hajati nsonyiwa. Sheikh alina akantu kayogera. Omanyi is very good n'obeerako mu environment ng'owulira abantu boogera ebintu by'obadde oyagala. Sheikh alina akantu ke yankoledde. And dakiika za 7 ngenda zifiiramu. Yagenze n'agamba nti tulinda nnyo okutuwa. We are waiting to be given. Nakubye engalo nabadde mmanyi lwaki. We are waiting to receive. Obwongo bwaffe, the society is so crippled. Buli muntu yenna yejjako obuvunaanyizibwa n'abaako gw'abuwa. Ne mu families tulina abantu abatakolangako. Buli mukolo ogubaawo banoonya za transport. Ezandeese nzirina naye ezinzizaayo. Tukoze tutya n'ava wano nadda wano. It's the habit. Yagambye bwe tuba twagala okutegeera. You see, nze mmanyi omuntu ng'atappinga into real knowledge. If we want to understand, we go back in history. Because through history, our thinking is molded. We are what we saw, not what we were told. It is our experiences which makes us who we are. Tugenda koppa muyindi okole byakola. Nga wava makange wa mamurwana. Indians don't have many houses. Babeera wamu and they thrive as a group. Osasula wano rent ne wano ne wali. Goyagala ojja olonde mukamu. You are not making the full analysis of what leads ku bantu bano to prosper. Mpisa. Naye mwe gye mujja mugamba tugenda koppako. Then along the way you fail. They come together. Nga bo ne batandika okukwata ebintu. But today, Namuju, ne muganda yenna, they cannot do it. Bahura mama. They have been conditioned to be separate from birth. How do you think they are going to come together when it comes to businesses? Nze nina omwami bamuyita Wodemaya yava Ghana. Najja wano, he was looking for people to interview. N'abuuza abantu, who should we invite? I think Musloti yasooka mwalimu Ham. I was the second. Nembeera muno omukyalo. I didn't even know anything about this guy. Later on I learned that he was the biggest YouTuber in Africa. Nakolako interview and I looked critically. My messages were negative. From all over the world, it had to be a Ugandan. Ghanaians, Nigerians, mugende ko mulabe program ya Haji Bakaluba. Everyone was like, this guy is so inspiration. He has got a very good story. When it came to Ugandans, alimba. Oyo wa government. Beba chini mukati oyo mufere again. You see, it's what you harbor in your mind. Chogenda ng'okola ki? Ne bw'olaba nze bwe nali sinatandika kukola, I didn't know that actually people can get rich. It never occurred to me. I was one of them. Nga nze ntuuleyo ne neerimba nti ye muhozi yazimba ennyumba ye n'asalawo Hamu agisulemu. Okola oba I don't know, those are living in the second life. And people convince themselves over and over and they start believing. And it's the belief which gives you the results. It's what you believe. Ajati abadde ngamba dakiika zino kati kanzi kube kamba twale rumu. Ajati abadde ngamba waliwo agambye nti nafuna passport nengenda first of all nali mu UK, but nga maliriza gyendaga njagala okutegeeza there are thousands of Ugandans in the UK. The question here is, are they where I am right now? What's so different about me? Njikuwe passport ogende. You sure you're going to come back with the same results? Uliriza. Omanye eseetuwa ebyekwaso. bw'oba oyagala ebyekwaso yensi ebituwa in plenty, and it will make ensi ejja kukumakinga to feel how legitimate bye weekwase. Nina abaana gyenva sisobola ate bwe naasasula fees n'atandika ntya business. It's legitimate. Okiwulira nga kikola ki? Kikola amakulu naye teriyo balina baana bathrivinga. Yes, balina ne baba ne business. Osobola if you munsi bw'oba oyagala to be a victim, you will be. Okay? Bw'oba ogamba nti I'm going to stand up and be counted, trust me, you will be counted. It depends on your attitude. Abantu baagala ebintu naye omala kutuula nabo n'oyogera nabo. Nze sikolangako interview yonna oba nenjogera n'omuntu ne mubuuza kyayagala mu bulamu n'akyogera. Never. They are all vague. Ne bwe ntandiko kikubuuza kikyoyagala. Njagala emmotoka. Mpozi kale awo n'abaana bange. Never. And then you start teaching them how being specific help you. Because bwe naakukwata ne nkuteeka mu kisaawe ky'obulamu ne nzigyamu goalposts, ojja kuba ozannya kigenda mu kisaawe. Bw'ojjamu goalposts, omuzannyo gu becoming invalid. People are just going through life. They are just wondering. They are following the follower. What are you doing? I will do. I can do it as well. Me too syndrome. And then at the end of the day, they become jack of all trades and master at none. Nze bakalwa ne bonza okusasa wa 10 nsobola okunnyonnyola okuzimba okuva ekutandika paka ekugwerako. I'm not calling you to do exactly what I'm doing, but you to find your own gift. Many of you are very busy working for other people, but you are failing to work on yourselves. You are concentrating too much on your jobs, forgetting your gifts. Jobs are giving you skills, but your own gift is your own calling. You can do it with less effort, and people will be able to pay you. Abantu ekyo muyinza okuba nga temukimanyi. Ekirala, you can have all the information you want, but as long as you lack the skills to close a deal, whatever you know helps you in nothing. Era nja kusaba abategese guno omusomo bwe muliba musomesa mpite essaawa nga 2 mbayigiriza buyigiriza how to close a deal. Mulowooza explaining nokola kino nokola no, what makes me want to work with you? Hajati azze wano nga atubuulira nkola kino. You see, now she has been in law practice. Naye genda omubuuze ne bwe mubuuza ajati what makes a good lawyer? Bwe nkimubuulira answer ye erina okuba nga eri very different from me. Nkikubuulira lwaki? Being a good lawyer is not knowing the law. Is not knowing how to argue the law. Is knowing how to entertain the court. A good lawyer, singa ozenga oli lawyer mulungi, nombuulira credentials zo zonna, nengamba fine, nengenda nenjogera ne lawyer omulala. Lawyer omulala nangamba kale tulabagane enkya kangende mala okwogerako n'omulamuzi oyo. Ani gwogenda okuwa omulimu? You see, a good lawyer is the one who can take a judge for a cup of coffee. And that's how the world works. No, he knows the system. For you just learn the law. But people defy the law and they prosper. Sibagamba kumenya mateka, but njagala kutegeera. Ngenda. Ekyo kyovola bankiddukako mangu era bwe naatandika okukyogerako kiyinza okuntwalira obudde. Ekirala, nina obuzibu. Nze nsomesa reality. Naye nsanze obuzibu nga nkontana nammwe. Bw'obadde oyogera ogambye nti when I looked at you, people who are doing business, exactly what I'm teaching is what you're teaching. Omuntu omugamba networking. Omuntu omugamba customer care. Omuntu omugamba how to read the environment, how to know the law. It's exactly what we are teaching. Omanyi kye tufunanga tuzze mu bantu baffe aba umma. Ffe abasomesa business tewali basinze tuvuma ng'abasiraamu. Ekyo oyogera ki? Allah yagaba. You see, okay, yagaba. Then why did you go to school? Walibeeredde ddala waka n'olinda akole ki? Tuteekamu amasannyalaze such that people can get the vibe to stand up and do things. There was a story. Ovo obwana bwali buto. Akamu kalinnya ngenda kudduka. Kalinnya ne kagwa mu muzira. Muzira gwali gutandise okumeltinga. Bwe kagwamu kannaako ne kagenda ne kamenya ettabi lyali ddene. Bwe kalifuna ne kali mu kasukira omwana n'avaamu. And abantu bonna bwe baakuŋŋaana ambulances nga zizze ne bamala okumugyamu omwana okumuwa first aid n'okumutwala mu ddwaliro. Everyone was wondering nga balabye obunene bw'ettabi omwana lye yamenya okuweereza munne. And they were puzzled. Nga bagamba, how did this happen? How did a 5-year-old child think about getting a branch ennene bweti n'agimenya n'agiweereza munne? And then the old man standing on the side n'abatunga n'abagamba, I know exactly how he did it. N'abagamba naye tobaddewo? N'agamba, yeah, but I know. N'agamba tewabaddeewo muntu yenna kumugamba nti tasobola kikola. Kati amaanyi gaafunye tabaddemu ne negativity yonna kumugamba nti nno tekikola ki tekisoboka. That's the difference. It's the energy you get. Bannister bwe yali adduka meters 10, no one had ever done it in 4 minutes, and it was a belief that it could not be done. The day Bannister did it, thousands of university students have done it. Why? They went there knowing that someone had done it before. It's doable. I can go there n'ekikola ki? N'ekikola. So it's the energy. Ekugambisa nti sigenda kutyoba munvuma mukole ki? Munvume. Kakati bw'ojja n'ekugamba seeka nze bwe mba nsomesa business to mixinga n'ababuulira okufa. Manyi lwaki? It's not that death is not real. But you cannot mix. The brain cannot hold two thoughts at a go. Tosobola gamba bba wange oyo mwagala naye yantama aba yakutama. Tosobola bikola ki? Kati bwe mba ne hajati nga tuli mu kisenge tulina ebyaffe bye tumaze ne mutunuulira mu face bwendi ne mugamba hajati bunaaba butinga omubiri guno guvunze. Mazima naye w'okyogeredde tekikola ki? Tekijja. These are different energies. And it applies. Bwe tuba tutandika okukola ki? Okusomesa ebintu bino. Genda nga mbasiibula otunuulire ekifaananyi eky'e Kenya, the most famous picture of Kenya. Ogenda kulabamu nga mulimu Uhuru Senior Kenyatta, mulimu mutabani we, mulimu the family of Lyra. Bonna nga bwe babadde omwana yali president nono n'amuddako, abaddako babadde ku opposition n'abagenda nga baddako. You see, the clique is there. They are just sending down buli kimu. Ani gw'oliraana ku business? You see, kyetukusomesa tojja kitegeera naye kyolaba ewammwe. Nze ewaffe bwe natandika okwogera ku social media nali mulalu, naye bwe nfunye ssente kati ndi mulamu. But social media nagitegeera nga handle. What if I waited for everyone to understand what I was doing? What if I was waiting for everyone to approve of what I was doing? oyagala kola kyoyagala okukola. Who tells you that everyone's opinion matters? You see, opinions are the rarest commodities in the world. Everyone has got one. So if you make it matter in your life, trust me, you're going nowhere. You're going nowhere. Tumaze kubeera abnormal for us to have abnormal lives. And the results. Kandekerawo neyanziza nnyo mwebale obudde bulabika bungenzeeko naye mwebale nnyo mwebale ddala.
I think we know why we should have you for almost 2 hours. You know?
Nkwagala nnyo njagala ogende from today. Try to brand yourself. You are a very unique figure to be in such a field. But whatever you do, try to brand yourself. Kubanga olina all it takes to stand out. What if you call yourself the Iron Lady from today? Tell people.
Well,
when they know the theme. TikTok, Haji Kaluba. Tell the world who you are and they'll know you.
Thank you very much. A big round of applause to Haji. Well, she's actually the Iron Lady, so not the metal fabric businesswoman. So I want to encourage you guys to network. I think that's a good one. He has ideas of how you can get there. But then speaking about her, she has a couple of capes, well designed. You know, part of what she does, it's a social enterprise. So she's empowering women. So kindly, they're only for 12,000, so you can just grab one. And then the monies go back into teaching as many other women to weld, many other Iron Lady entrepreneurs as well. Iron Lady entrepreneurs. Did I hear that? Iron Lady entrepreneurs. Well, time is not on our side. Unfortunately or fortunately, we have to prepare for the next engagement. I want to take this moment to highlight a couple of things. One, this is the first entrepreneurship forum. And I want to invite Council Waswa, representing the organizers, to come and say a few words as we wrap up. Council Waswa, a big round of applause to the main organizers. It doesn't take much, but it takes a lot of courage to put together such things. Muslims are not usually known to put up constructive conversations of such. We're not known to that, but Council, you're welcome. Thanks for you guys conceptualizing, investing, and everything. Just say a few words, and then as we wrap up, thank you very much, and on behalf of your colleagues as well.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Ladies and gentlemen, our panelists, mine shall be a vote of thanks. And I'll be very brief. All these panelists have said quite a lot. I've been taking notes, and I think I've filled like 10 pages. And each of them, in their own right, they're young minds, they're Muslims, and whoever has spoken in their specific field has shown expertise in that field, has shown that these things are possible, because there are people out there that think maybe starting a fabrication business or doing rabbit business is something that cannot be done. Let's give them a round of applause. Let's give them a bigger round of applause. I'm seeing people who are not clapping. Yes, so on part of the organizers, I'd like to thank the Focus Institute for Islamic Economics and Finance. I'd like to thank Tuma Travels, Thurayya, Islam Media, and all other sponsors that have made this event possible. I'll agree with Ahmed Haji. When most people hear of such events, organized especially by Muslims, they think they are mediocre. But you'll all agree with me that the speakers have done justice to the topics that were laid before them. And I believe all of us should get at least a contact of one of these people. I'll personally go and get her number.
The Iron Lady.
The Iron Lady. I'm in a sector where she left, So probably she'll give me some of the clients she left in the industry. But I think what stood out the most for me was the fact that they showed us that perspective or mindset is what we need to have to start anything. There's an interesting joke, which will be my last one. The people who went camping, they're about 5. And one of them woke up the other in the middle of the night and asked him, wake up, and told him, what do you see? So the first person told him, you see those stars? They are part of the galaxy, so we are on Earth, and those stars are in this direction and that direction. And then they woke up the other person and asked him, what are you seeing? And he said, according to what I see, the wind is, too much. It must be like 3 a.m. in the night. And then they woke up the third one and asked him, what do you see? The third one woke up and said, you see, according to the law on climate change, if this part of the forest doesn't have trees, that means this place is in breach of such and such provision. And then the fourth person told them, you people are mad. They've stolen our tent. So they were sleeping under a tent, but all of them were looking at life from their own lenses. So you cannot take away all the opportunities we have in life. Entrepreneurship calls us to be creative and look at things differently. Other than that, I'll introduce myself as the last thing. My name is Waswa Kasim Sensaro. I'm an advocate. I don't have my own chambers like the Iron Lady did. She'll probably give me a few notes. I work with the law firm Semambo and Semambo Advocates. It's in Kamocha. As entrepreneurs, I encourage you to consult experts. It doesn't have to be lawyers. It could be architects. It could be accountants, because it goes a long way in shaping the way you do your business and also helping in mitigating the risks here and there. Other than that, thank you very much for coming. I'm told this event is going to be an annual event, so I hope that next year we shall have a bigger room and there won't even be space. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much. Let's give a big round of applause to our panelists. Haji Bakaluba, Mr. Chiwa, Dr. Mutagubia Chisitu, then my brother Maawiya, and the Iron Lady. It's been a good start. We don't need the numbers to get started. We need the spirits. So I think one of my parting shots is if we were in COVID and you are not an essential worker, then you're never essential. So if there is anything that was being done when we're home, if you're not among those who are doing things when we're home, then you're not essential, you're not of value, you're not of worth. So I think we have a challenge to be essential. Thank you very much. It's been an honor. I've been your moderator. My name is Ahmed Haji. I teach. I'm a simple teacher. Yeah, so the panelists will be sharing their contacts. We're going for, please pass by, check out with the lady Nawira for the caps. Let's try to support each other. Let's network as well, but importantly, a big round of applause, and we thank Allah, alhamdulillah, for this day. It's a good start. We apologize for whatever has gone not well. It's a start. We're human beings. Every Ben Adam has to mess up a bit. But importantly, if you are guided by Allah so that you can better and improve. So where we've gone wrong as organizers, we're just getting into these things, and we ask God to guide us to the better things as well. But thank you very much. Have a very good night. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Let's keep in touch. Let's connect, inshallah. But Magharib is waiting for us. A very important appointment. We need that mercy, actually, if we are to succeed. There's no scarcity for capital. There's no scarcity. It's only scarcity of creativity.